Hey folks, welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Babbel. It's important because that's a lot of what I do around here. Look, when you're traveling to a destination where you don't know the language, it can be really, really hard to accomplish even the simplest of tasks. I've traveled all over the world, and before, even just like a Google Translate software gets me like the very, very basics, but if it's not even like an Arabic letters alphabet, I am totally lost. Thank God there's Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app. Through Babbel's bite-sized lessons, you can learn a new language skill that you can actually use in the real world. From greetings, menus, and directions to gaining a deeper understanding of the culture, Babbel is a travel essential. I've always wanted to I learned Spanish in high school, but I really kind of lost it because I didn't use it. And now that I'm in the parking and auto detailing business, frankly, I should probably pick it back up. And with Babbel, it would make the learning process quick and easy and give me experience I've never had before. Babbel's 15-minute lessons make it the perfect way to learn a new language on the go. See, other language learning apps use AI for their lessons plans, but Babbel lessons were created by actual language experts, over 100 of them. Their teaching method has been scientifically proven to be effective. With Babbel, you can choose from 14 different languages, including Spanish, French, Italian, and German. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology helps you to improve your pronunciation and your accent. There's many, many ways to learn with Babbel. In addition to the lessons, you can access podcasts, games, videos, stories, and even live classes in the language you're studying. Start your language learning journey today with Babbel. Right now, when you purchase a 3-month Babbel subscription, you'll get an additional 3 months for free. Double it up. That's 6 months for the price of 3. Just go to Babbel.com and use promo code TIRE. That's BABBEL.com, code TIRE. Babbel, learn a language for life. We are also brought to you by Netgear and their new Orbi Wi-Fi 6. If your Wi-Fi is struggling to keep up with your streaming, your work, your gaming, your video calling, and more, what about all of the above? It's time to treat your home to the world's superior Wi-Fi system with Orbi Wi-Fi 6 by Netgear. No more buffering, no more dead zones, and no more dropped Wi-Fi connections. And what I love about the Orbi Wi-Fi 6 is that I can use multiple items. Here's the thing. My wife is at home working, right? Streaming video conferencing all day. I still got to upload my footage after a shoot. I still got to do my work. And so with this thing, I can do it all at once. The Orbi Wi-Fi 6 by Netgear is perfectly engineered to ensure a faster, superior Wi-Fi connection across even the most demanding and sophisticated smart homes of any size. Upgrade to the Orbi Wi-Fi 6 and untap crisp 8K video streaming, crystal clear audio with faster speeds across all your connected devices and 0 interruptions. Ready to experience exceptional Wi-Fi? Upgrade to the Orbi Wi-Fi 6 and save 10% today. Visit netgear.com/bestwifi. That's netgear.com/bestwifi. Promo code SmokingTire10. You'll save 10% off. netgear.com/bestwifi. Promo code SmokingTire10. Woo! We're also brought to you by Autotempest.com. I mean, listen, we know about Autotempest. I use Autotempest today. Not even having anything to do with this promo. I had a client who saw the market for cars and it was like, what is going on with used luxury SUVs right now? And do I need to get out of my Bentley Bentayga? I used Autotempest to see what the market looked like for 2017 Bentley Bentaygas around the country. And oh boy, is it up. Man, it's a good time to sell your used Bentayga, let me tell you. They make searching for your next car easy. You no longer have to go to these individual car sites like Carvana, TrueCar, and Cars.com. They bring in all those listings together, plus they even link you to Facebook Marketplace and nationwide Craigslist results. They now offer search alerts, so you can sign up to receive emails when new listings match your search criteria show up. All I know is I've never had a more convenient and easier way to search for the car I want across the entire internet and across the entire country. You get all the cars with one search at autotempest.com/TST. Go to autotempest.com/TST so they know we sent you. All right, folks, Jonny Lieberman is in studio. He was up at Pebble doing all the Pebble things. He got to have a go in the Ferrari Monza, and he just drove the Lucid Air from LA to San Francisco on one charge, 403 miles. I like it. I don't even know if he's going to talk to us about that Lucid. It might be embargoed. But either way, it's Jonny. We'll probably be drinking. It's the Smoking Tire Podcast. That's the thing. All right, L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Jonny is here, and he has brought the Willet.
Willet.
What is it? The Willet. It's just Willet.
Willet? Yeah. It's
Willet. Family Estate bottled single barrel bourbon.
It's barrel number 1590, but it's the 15-year 1590, not to be confused with the 7-year or the 11-year.
Family Estate, number 29 of 117.
Yes.
Is that 117 bottles per barrel? Is that how that works?
That barrel made 117 bottles. This is the 29th. And it's to celebrate your good news because you did something pretty cool, I thought.
I'm putting ice in this, Jonny.
No, heartbreaker.
It's just I don't have the, when it gets over 100, I just can't do it.
Yeah, I just, again,
a little bitch.
For those listening, this is like putting ice on your steak.
I know.
Okay, I get it.
I did sip it. I told you I would. I'm going to put a little more. I'm going to put a cube in, okay?
Well, I mean.
I'm not making like a gin and tonic out of it.
It's just it's like going, you're doing the equivalent of like going to the French Laundry and adding ice to the soup. But that's cool.
But the problem is, if the soup was 120 proof, I would add ice to the soup.
Fair enough. I'll just be over here drinking this.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. Anyway, we're here. It's a show.
Oh, wow.
I'm glad. Yeah.
Woo!
It's fucking strong, but
also delicious.
It's got the flavor is there, but man, does it have some horsepower on it. Yeah.
Well said. Oh, wow. It's good. I like it. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I will say, I love Willet. This is not the best Willet I've ever had, but I grabbed it because, again, we're celebrating.
You're operating on a level that is very high.
But we're celebrating.
Yes. I opened escrow.
Yes.
It was not closed. You opened escrow.
That's true.
But my building inspection went well today.
That's awesome.
So that's good.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Here's to expanding.
That's amazing, man.
Expansion.
And you've been open like not long and COVID.
It'll be a year actually in 2 weeks. We're
That's
almost
insane.
a year. But we sold out in February.
That's
We've been
insane.
sold out. So
I mean, good for you. That's awesome.
The demand is there.
That's amazing.
And I don't actually have to build this building from scratch.
And that's also amazing.
Which is good.
Yeah. Congrats.
We
again.
do have to modify. There are some things that need doing.
Sure, but
it's not a move-in ready, but it's bend from here.
Yeah.
If you need to.
It's going to go up a little.
Yeah, it's okay. You can loosen the little. There you go.
Okay, whatever. I got it. And I apologize in advance to your audience.
1 cube is where the fuck it's at. Zach?
Double heartbreak.
It's a bit hot, dude.
It's a bit hot.
It's not that hot, actually. I've had much hot. Anyways, I apologize to the audience. I've had this horrible cough, even though I do keep testing negative for COVID. I just have a cough,
Good.
so you'll hear me coughing, and I apologize.
Well, as long as it's not the vid.
It's not. I mean,
not the
as
vid.
of 2 days ago, and I've seen no one since then. It's
Perfect.
not the vid. Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And we can and actually, Willet is like it's like an oral vaccine.
Nothing will survive this.
Nothing will survive in my mouth once I'm on this.
on it, kid.
Once I'm on this 120.
Well, now it's not 120.
I
but anyways,
anticipated you would bring something fire, and that's why I did cardio at 6 this morning, so I don't have to worry about the gym later.
You know, I have a bottle of something that is like 144 proof. I think next time I'll bring that.
When I went to that Lost Spirits place downtown,
oh yeah, well
they were serving gasoline. It was like 140 plus.
Well, also their finished good product, or to them good, tastes like gasoline. I think they're out of business.
Are they?
Thankfully, yeah. I almost got in like a fist fight with them because they're like, in 12 hours we can magically through science age whiskey for 12 years, and I was like, why does it taste so bad if that's true? And they're like, no, it's delicious. I'm like, no, I'm actually know what I'm talking about. This is gross. And it was my wife was like dragging me out, like arm caught. I was so mad at this guy.
That's funny.
It was awful.
Yeah, because it's not really aging, right? They attempted to reverse
frying.
engineer a flavor profile on like a side route, really.
They're basically taking lights that they claim are brighter than the sun, I believe is what the guy said to me with a straight
There's like
face.
crazy UV lights.
Yeah, and they're frying vodka, and then they're adding food coloring to make it brown.
they were when I saw they were dunking certain types of old wood into the liquor, blasting it with UV, which would break it. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
I mean, look, I'm telling you, I went on the tour and it tasted like gasoline.
It was awful. Yeah. Right. Like literally undrinkable.
Yeah, it was rough.
Okay, so
it was rough.
I think they're out of business. I think COVID,
that's true. Willy Wonka factories don't really survive.
Yeah, and and again, and they were like addicted to me on Facebook. So if they're out of business, like I'm happy. And I normally don't do that, but like. I was like, your product doesn't taste good, and they were like, why are you saying this? And I'm like, because your product doesn't taste good.
I mean, it's an opinion. In your case, it's somewhat of an expert one.
Something, I know what I'm talking about. Anyways,
the water swig after this is nice. That has a nice back flavor to it.
Okay,
has a nice after flavor when you sip the water. Man, you know where I went yesterday?
No.
The San Marino Classic. You ever go to that concourse?
I love that. It's the best hidden gem in LA.
How have I? Jeff T sent me some tickets, and we went down there with Christian Hand.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be like kind of a little local thing. I was like, I got there, like, what the fuck is going on? It's crazy.
It's Pebble quality cars in San Marino. No, like. I tell people
San Marino is basically Pasadena. If you don't, it's just south of Pasadena.
Extremely wealthy, extreme wealth. It's like old LA money. Like
I
new
thought I
LA
drove
money.
into Greenwich.
Yeah, it's like Rhode Island. Like new LA money is Beverly Hills. If you dammed the Colorado River or whatever, you live in San Marino.
Yeah, and it was nice. The roads weren't straight; the roads curved.
Yeah,
and it was at this Lacey Park, and. Dude, there were 6 Duesenbergs there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's like a percentage of the total number of Duesenbergs made.
With the original owners. I mean, but no, I remember I was there a couple years ago, and like the Mercedes Gullwings they had there were better than anything I've ever seen at Pebble.
The Mercedes Gullwings that were there, there were...
Was that purple one there?
There was there was at least 7.
Yeah.
Okay. 4 had Rudges.
Yeah.
And then there was the 2... pre-road car ones. The Mercedes Classic Center owns, I think, the race cars.
The W194s.
Right. Yes. Chassis number 5 and like chassis number 3 or something.
I think,
or whatever it was.
Whatever it is.
Single digits.
Yeah. There's only 10 and really, maybe kind of 11, but there's only 10 of those.
And every going, like, 4 out of 7 had Rudges. All of them had luggage. And then they were right next to all the Duesenbergs. And I was like, where am I? This is crazy.
No, and no one knows about it.
And then there was some amazing Packards and Cadillac 16s.
Yes.
But then, off in the corner, was like a guy with a C5 convertible with a lawn chair and had a big GT wing. Like, there's random garbage strewn in to these incredible... It was so wild.
I mean, they do their best, but again, it's such a cool show. I love that show.
Really cool.
Yeah, I just spaced it. I wouldn't have actually been able to go yesterday anyways, but I totally spaced it. But
I'm never going to miss that one again. Oh, it's a good one.
No, again, and it's one of those weird things that just no one knows of. It's like the Nethercutt Museum. Yeah. Like you would never go to Silmar. There's no reason to go to Silmar, but there happens to be like the best car collection. Like, you like 16-cylinder cars because there's 30 of them that live, and I think it's like $1 to get in or something.
Amazing.
Right? It's incredible.
Yeah, no, I mean, this show had... I think it was sponsored by Ferrari Club. So there's like a whole section of like semi-modern Ferraris. Great, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
There was a British section where there was more Morgans than I've ever seen in one place. Probably 25 Morgans and some old, Jags E-types and stuff. There was a brass era section where people were like running their steam cars and doing all kinds of weird stuff. The pre-war American section was really cool, and there was like a really an interesting like convertibles section in the back, and there's a couple of those like early retractable hardtops with the wonky mechanisms and great stuff. Really good stuff.
Last time I went, they had 2 cars really stood out. They had a LaSalle, a 34 LaSalle, which was there's the companion brand of Cadillacs. It was the first car that Harley Earl ever designed for General Motors, and it was orange. It was
Cool.
deco. It was the most stunning thing.
Oh wait,
It was probably there.
was it like coral orange?
Yes.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah,
I was like, what color is this? It's crazy.
No, that car is
Yeah.
amazing.
It
And
was
then
awesome.
there was like two, I think, of my actual favorite cars that I'll never be able to drive or own them, but the post-war Alfa Romeo 6Cs.
Oh, yeah.
So they're not as striking looking as the 8Cs, but if you look, I look at the interiors and I just freak out. Like they are the coolest looking interiors.
Those, yeah. Right there, 48, second row down on the left.
Yeah,
That one?
Yeah, that type of thing,
Yeah,
right?
6C 2500. That's hot.
Or the 2600 is actually the hot one, but for the exterior. But if you can find the interior of these, like I just
Look at that.
Yeah.
That was Count Trossi car, the gray one there? I didn't know Count Trossi also had an Alpha.
I don't know, but like,
he was there's a famous Mercedes SSK.
try that far right.
With the four
far
spoker?
right. No, up.
Oh
Yeah,
wow, that's
that.
a beautiful interior.
I don't know if you can make it big enough, but it wouldn't be. I guess 39. Anyway, there's something magical about those cars. And there was like two of them, and again, for me, it's like a 10-minute drive from my house to the show. And I love Pebble. I went to Pebble. It was awesome. But the quality of the stuff on this lawn rivals.
Yeah, it was really impressive
yeah,
stuff.
it's crazy. Yeah, it's such a cool show.
And I saw a lot of nice people.
That's not quite it. It would be like a 46 to a 50.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyways.
Really, really good stuff. I can't recommend that show highly enough if you're in LA next September.
Yeah, it's the coolest show.
And Christian and I took the doors and roof off the Bronco to go there.
Oh yeah. So
Which-
what do you make of the Bronco?
Dude, I really dig the Bronco.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've got the two-door Outer Banks, which is like
The street one.
The street one.
Yeah, I drove the 4-door Outer Bank.
Yeah, I love the two-door. The wheelbase, the turning radius, like it's fabulous. Like it's a great city vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't tried a 4-door yet. I'd like to, but this thing was great, and I could climb in the back seat pretty easily.
Did you go off road?
Tomorrow morning, we're going off-road. We haven't had the chance yet. Tomorrow morning, we're going off-road with two vehicles, the Outback Wilderness and the Bronco.
Are you going to
Rower?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you'll be shocked in two ways. You'll be shocked at how great the Bronco is off road. I had the Outer Banks, which again is on basically a street tire.
Yeah, it's on a 17-inch. 17-inch? 17-inch.
I
It's
think
like
they're 17s.
255. I just read this. 255, 65, 17s.
Right,
I
but
think.
it's not the BFG knurled up.
Right.
It's but
You measure it in millimeters, not inches.
Yeah.
It's not 35. It's not that.
Sorry, it's not 35. But I went off road and I was like, oh my god, this thing is legit. Also, I should point this out. The most important thing about Broncos is in any mode, doesn't matter, in any Bronco, you can lock the rear axle in rear wheel drive, which means you can just do the dumbest stuff for no reason. And like the Wrangler, you can, on the 2021 only Rubicons, you can lock the rear axle in 4 high. Or 2 high, but all the others you can't do it. You have to be in 4 low to lock the rear
really?
axle. So you can't just do
So no
dumb.
hooning.
Yeah. So the Broncos are hoon.
I'm pretty sure the Gladiator I drove, 2021 Gladiator.
21
Mojave. Gladiator
Mojave is basically a Rubicon.
You could lock the rear diff in rear wheel drive like a Raptor.
And
yeah.
that's the Mojave is basically Rubicon stuff. It's only for 21. And then you'll be shocked at how you're going to have to leave the Subaru in the parking lot because it's not going to make that first obstacle.
You don't? It won't.
Just based on nothing other than some work we did. Christian Seabaugh reviewed it, and like he was on like almost a nothing, and it was like spinning its wheels. But also the approach angles and the departure angles on that, you're gonna.
It's like 20 degrees. 20 degree departure, 20
so you want
to approach.
I did.
Yeah. Should we not try that trail? In that,
you should try it.
I mean, if it doesn't make it past the first obstacle,
then you
that
back
would,
up.
That would be
Part
a
of the
problem.
story,
Yeah,
that would be a struggle.
Because I did that in a Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro, and I had to literally 4 low, and then it would not go, and I had to lock the rear axle for the 4Runner to go.
Really?
Yeah.
for that first section?
That first section is crazy.
Which is very steep.
It's a very steep section.
It's steep, but it's just
we
just
did it in
slick
Bronco
and-
Sport. No problem
Bronco
at all.
Sport is way better than it should be. It has no
Bronco
right to be
Sport
that
was
good.
good.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
has no reason to be as good as it is.
But Jessica at Subaru was like, "Oh, Johnny said, I bet you can't do that trail in a fucking Outback Wilderness."
Jessica, if you're listening, $1. I bet you $1. It does not get without. You could damage the body and figure out some alternate way to do it.
I don't want to break it.
No,
Yeah.
we might need a run up though, because I think like the low speed with traction issues with the CVT. I've read that and it can struggle with that, and that might present some challenges.
Well, so it's a CVT, so it's going to go up to like 7,000 RPM. You'll have no torque.
It'll smoke the fucking gearbox.
and then you just back
But
down.
again, I just think that approach angle, like no way, no how.
Okay.
And the rest of the trail, honestly, like
It's a tough trail.
Well, even like I took a G-Wagon, the G63 with the off-road pack or whatever they call it, which is badass, but I scratched it.
Yeah.
You know?
I scratched the
Defender.
the Land Cruiser. I did not. I scratched the Land Cruiser going up there.
Yeah, and it's just, that's approach angle. That's all that. And a Land Cruiser has like a, oh God, I should know this, 32-degree approach angle.
This Outback's like 20 and a half.
20.
Yeah.
So like a Wrangler's like a, 36 or something.
Maybe we should just film the Outback on the dirt approach road.
The fire road.
Yeah, and not.
Yeah, we could.
I say
We'll
try
it. But if we make that the crux of the video will be over in 30 seconds. I drove the Outback around today on the street. I liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, the new Outback is like a pretty nice car. Seats are comfortable.
They're great. I mean, we just did a thing with like the Honda Accord class of vehicles. So we had the Legacy, which is basically like an Outback that's not lifted. And
They
like,
still make just a Legacy.
yeah,
I don't know
it's
when
like
the
a
last
Camry.
time
Yeah.
was I saw just a regular Legacy.
But I mean, the Honda transcends the class. The Accord is so good that like it has no competition. But for the other 6 cars, like the Camrys and whatever, I thought the Outback was second place. Not the Outback, the Legacy. I think it actually came in third in our thing because the Kia K5 or whatever was ahead of it. But they're very close. But yeah, the Legacy's great and the Outback's great.
This thing is impressive in just in the comfort.
Yeah,
level.
and that new engine Subaru's putting in
The
everything.
turbo motor this has.
Yeah, the turbo motor, and then also their big screen. Like for the money, it's like that's pretty.
Yeah,
good.
this thing is under 40,000. I
Yes.
mean, it's a lot of car for under 40 grand.
And remember, what most people, they're not going to go and do that first obstacle at Rower Flats, right? They're going to go down a dirt trail and pitch a tent. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And it looks kind of okay.
And it has the roof rack that's like perfectly set up for roof tent.
Yeah. So
I'm
I think
pretty
it's good.
stoked on it actually. It's I'm excited to try it.
Well, I'm curious to find out what happens.
But Bronco,
Yes.
we took the doors off in 5 minutes. It was really easy to take them off.
Yeah.
And then you hit on my Instagram. You're like, wait till you try to get them back on.
Right.
So what's so hard about getting them back on?
in typical, I would say Ford fashion, where they're very good at boosting.
try this one.
Yeah, they're very good at boosting their positives. Like they're like, okay, what's the problem with the Wrangler? And it's like, well, there's 3 things you have to unscrew to get it off. They're like, we're going to do it in 2, so it comes off easy. It's just impossible to line the thing up. It's really like if you had like a lot of people, you could do it, but. The hot tip, I was
2
telling you-
people should be able to do it, right?
it's just you can't, because it doesn't have external hinges, it has internal hinges. You can't see what you're doing. So the second person would be in the
Has
vehicle,
to be in the truck,
would be
lining it up.
or looking, but they
That
can't get
makes
close
sense.
to it. So the hot tip, and this is from Sean Holman, is you cover the receiver holes with painter's tape, because otherwise you'll scratch the shit out of it.
The holes on the
On the hinge
thing.
itself.
Okay.
Yeah, so like the
So you
female.
don't bash the door with the bare
No,
metal.
it's just you'll scratch it with the male part of the door.
Oh, I see.
Because you just can't see what you're doing.
I see. That makes sense.
So like
yeah.
on the Jeep, you can look because there's an external hinge and
Right.
you see it going in. With this, it's literally in the door
Right.
seam.
I watched the video on how to take it off.
Yeah.
And it seemed it was extremely easy, honestly.
Yeah.
And having driven it around for 2 days with no doors and no roof.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty badass. Like
I would just say though, if you've had a Wrangler, like you've been doing the same thing for 70 years.
Oh no,
like,
of course. I'm not
yeah.
saying like, oh, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I have never disassembled my own press car before. Oh, okay. So this is a first for me. And
I'm with you.
And I'll tell you what, especially because the Bronco's so new,
Yeah.
and it's so trendy,
Yeah.
and of where I live in Venice, where
Yeah, sure.
everybody
It's the ultimate-
fucking
yeah,
wants
yeah.
them. If you roll down Abbot Kinney,
Yeah, with no
Abbott
doors.
Kinney Boulevard,
Yeah.
in no doors in the new Bronco, you will get cash offers. People were like, how much they wanted it. Hey, Christian and I were driving down the 110 freeway, and someone in a DBS Superleggera did a full lap around us while his girl was taking video.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, okay, so the $300,000 car driver is going, get video of that.
Right.
That's the guy who's going to pay $100,000 for one of these now, you know?
And so my take on it, I like the Bronco a lot. However, it's not perfect. It's definitely not a Wrangler killer.
I like driving it on the street way better than I like driving Wranglers on the street. The steering, it makes a big difference to me.
That's true. It does. Yeah, it doesn't have a solid front axle. It does drive better on the street, but and with the doors off, this is irrelevant. But with that top, it's like at 70 miles an hour, it sounds like it's raining.
It's really loud.
Yeah,
and ours has the optional insulated top.
And it's doesn't do anything. Yeah. I think they might have actually recalled those tops.
They did.
They stopped
recalled all of them.
Yeah,
because the paint was peeling off them.
There's that, but also, I mean, literally at 80 miles an hour, which is normal freeway speed these days, you can't talk on the phone. You can't hear the radio.
We noted that for sure.
So the ride is better. However, I will just throw this out there because of dealer markup, like you just mentioned. Jeep 392. Have you?
Yeah, we haven't had a go yet, but I would like to.
That's the SUV. I didn't realize it. That's the SUV I've been dreaming about my entire life. Like literally the best SUV ever made.
Like 2 or 3 years ago, we drove an AEV modified Jeep. It was a Jeep 392. They put the 392 in a Jeep, and it was basically that.
Right, except that's not like the V8. It's kind of like the TRX, where it's like the big engine becomes the least interesting part of the vehicle. So basically, I was talking to Ralph Gilles about this. The old SRT team, like for the 392, they decided that the Jeep guys aren't going to do it because what they value is like rock crawling. Mm-hmm. They don't value like what the SRT guys would, which is like overall performance. So the Jeep guys were actually kind of pissed off about the 392. And they by the way, the Jeep guys were at work on the hybrid, the 4xe. Mm. So it's like the old race guys who did the Viper, ACR, were like put a V8 in a Jeep. So they changed the front end, they radically changed the rear end, they gusseted everything. So like all the stuff you hate about a Wrangler on the street, all gone.
Really?
Oh my God, awesome!
We'll have
drive.
to try one of those. Yeah. Can you get in a 2-door or only in a 4-door?
Oh no,
is it only Gladiator?
No, it's not Gladiator at all. It's only 4-door.
Okay.
And it's only Rubicon spec. So it's like $73,000 base price.
That's expensive.
It is, but if you get a $65,000 Bronco and you pay a $50,000 dealer
you're
markup,
right. You were right. No, that's insane.
It's cheap.
That's insane.
And again, like I've never, if you read anything I've ever written about a Wrangler, I'm hypercritical of how they actually drive on the street because I say, yes, they're the best off-roaders. However, like I would rather have a Land Cruiser or a G-Wagon because they're basically 90% as capable, but they're wonderful around town. Yeah. This is wonderful around town. It's maybe the best sounding V8 since the second Gen 4 GT. I mean, it just is amazing. And that's, by the way, that's before you hit the loud button. Like,
it has a button?
It is insane. I'm like, I think I'm going to buy one. Huh. Like, I totally
They'll
don't
probably
need
just give you one for a year. What do you need to buy one for?
Oh, they won't because the company is like very bummed out about it for a lot of reasons. It's 10 miles a gallon being the big reason.
Yeah.
So, like,
actually, the Bronco, I've gotten 17 cumulative.
Yeah.
And that includes, we went to the canyons to film a road drive with it. I sat in a bunch of traffic in the city, did a bunch of highway miles, and I'm still getting 17. Yeah. Like, oh, that's with the big motor. I'm like, that's actually pretty decent.
I mean, a regular V6, or sorry, a 2-liter Wrangler, because that would be the best comparison. The 2-liter Wrangler, it probably gets around there. It's not quite as quick, but it's almost as quick. I did the numbers. It was not. There was a huge
almost as quick
difference.
as a 6.
The 2-liter turbo.
This one has the 6.
This is a 2.7.
This is a 2.7 turbo.
So you gotta be more
I
comfortable
should
with
look it up, but I forget because the 2-liter has a ton of torque or something like that. It's like the Alfa Romeo 2-liter. It's like 310 foot-pound of torque or whatever it is. But anyways, just my whole point is 392. Just like
I bet it'll be cool.
It is.
I bet it'll be cool.
And again, like never having loved a Wrangler, like they're great off road, but like they're. I've had to drive one from Moab back to LA, and it's just misery.
Yeah,
it was just a 2-liter. It was just loud and creaking and But
Hannah always manages to break it down right, and she said when the last Wrangler I had, she goes, "It feels like every single screw on this thing needs another turn."
Yes, very good.
My wife can really sum up a car. Excellent.
My wife's good at that too. I remember I gave her a ride in a GTR, and I'm like, "What do you think?" She's like, "It's loud and bumpy." I was like,
yep,
"It is."
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yep. True.
But anyways, the 392. That's Bronco, whatever.
We will have to get one. We'll have to call the Stellantis folks.
I was just literally blown away by it.
we'll have 2 videos of Bronco off-road and on-road, and you know what? I think this one is $51,000. It's not ridiculously expensive, and it's a pretty solid little package.
Yeah, I think they're going to take a lot of money from Jeep. I do, because the number of people that buy Wranglers just to stunt on the street and don't off-road them
is huge.
And they know that inside. They wouldn't tell anybody else, but it's huge.
It's huge.
And they'll go, this drives better. And the dealer markup is insane. But once that evens
eventually
out
they'll
of it,
catch up.
I think they're going to take a bit of money.
Yeah, but the thing is that Jeep is not like Jeep already has the hybrid out, which you know Ford doesn't have. Jeep has the 392. Jeep is not like they know what's happening. So like the Wrangler will just. This is the best thing that's ever happened to that segment.
Yeah,
Yes.
probably.
And like. Hats off to the fact you can still buy a 4-door convertible where the roof comes off and the doors come off.
Yeah.
Like
From 2 companies.
How's that possible?
Yeah.
Right? Like
It's cool.
It's the best. Yeah. It's awesome.
I was really impressed, and you'll see it in the video, at how not shit the Bronco was in the canyons.
Yeah.
It was really not shit at all.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure it would be worse if it had 35s on it. This one had regular wheels, but like, I hustled that thing up a canyon pretty good, and it was not bad. It was all right. And
Yeah,
so
I drove like whatever the first edition, launch edition, whatever they're calling it. With the, I guess I could talk about it now. This is one of those wonderful Ford things where they're like, you can drive it, but don't talk about it.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, so I'll talk about it now. Why not? Yeah, it was. It's first of all, those wheels are just gigantic. I mean,
the giant like
35s.
Sasquatch ones.
Yeah, it was the Sasquatch. Like, I guess they're good off road, as Zach pointed out. You know, the majority are going to be driving around L.A. or whatever. Yeah. It's huge. It just makes it a monster truck, which is kind of cool. But yeah, no, it was really nice. You know, again, like after tasting the Jeep 392, I'm like, all these are kind of slow and pathetic.
Well, like, yeah, I mean, a fucking 6-liter V8, and, you know,
6.4 liter V8.
I know. I didn't feel the need to use the extra syllable.
Just saying.
You're exhausting.
485 horsepower, 485 pound-feet of torque.
No, I love that. I love that
it's
engine.
470 horsepower according to Jeep's
According to that.
Oh, you're right. And 470 pound-feet of torque.
Yeah.
Sorry.
13.0 in the quarter mile. That is actually 2 seconds quicker than the Bronco.
Yeah.
The Bronco
Oh,
is
yeah.
15.1 in the quarter mile.
Yeah.
The Bronco ran the same trap speed in mile an hour that my 94 Mustang GT ran stock.
Yeah. No, it's good. Zach, if you pull up, I did like, if you type in like Ford Bronco first test motor trend, I have I think it's a V6. I think we did use a V6, but I had the V6 numbers and the Bronco numbers for the Outer Banks in the same article.
And for the acceleration?
Yeah,
there you go.
I want to say it was like 5.6 to 60 for the Bronco.
I mean, that's pretty fucking good.
But 5.9 for the regular one, yeah.
That's pretty good.
I did an
You got some
actual
air.
jump, and it was a blurry photo, so they used the one with one wheel up. I'm going to kill the photographer. Yeah.
Anyway, I
in
look
there
forward to driving that tomorrow. And
Yeah. You're going to love it off-road. And I bet the 2-door is like way better off-road, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Short
got the
wheelbase.
fucking, yeah, we got to get short wheelbase Defender next week, too.
The 4-door is good because, I mean, all the Broncos have a thing where it drags the left or right rear wheel to help, like, shorten the wheelbase, which works on hairpins. But, I mean, the 2-door is just going to, the U-turns are so easy.
It's going to be awesome.
Parking is just
Because
a breeze.
the turn assist, Toyota's had that in the Land Cruiser for like since 2007.
I remember that. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it actually works. It's amazing.
Yeah. Can we talk about the Monza? You
Yes.
drove a Pebble?
Yes.
Was it SP1, single-seater
I
Monza?
drove an SP1. It was, oh God, I'm going to get his name wrong. Everyone's going to yell at me. But Verlander, he's a baseball
Oh,
player.
yeah. Justin Verlander? Justin Verlander?
Yeah, married to Kate
Isn't
Upton.
he married to Kate Upton? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I drove
So he
his.
wanted life. Baseball player, married to Kate Upton, has a single-seat Ferrari V12.
Yeah, it's awesome.
okay.
So you've driven the Superfast.
Yes.
You've driven the Superfast GTS.
Yes.
Which I finally drove.
Isn't it good?
The unicorn jizz paint.
Oh, yeah, unicorn. Yeah.
That thing.
That thing rules.
Oh, it was-
what a great car.
Okay, so this is that with 30 extra horsepower.
No windshield.
It's no glass. I mean, there's no glass at all. No seat. So a car seat's probably about 70 pounds plus seatbelts and all that. That's all out. Plus the body's all carbon.
Whoa.
So you're probably talking 700 pounds less.
Yeah.
I didn't get to drive it much, to be honest. But, well, I'll tell you this. You'll love this. So, you know, we sit in the cars for 45 minutes because Pebble's an absolute shit show and everything runs late, right? 12 seconds to go. I'm like the third car in line. This guy walks up. He's like, "You need to get in front of that car," like the car in front of me. And I'm like, okay. So we start going. So I like basically cut the guy off, honk. I don't even know if it was a horn. I can't remember. Anyway, like yelled or whatever. I'm like, "I got to be in front of you." And then as I'm going around the corner, someone's like, "Hey, it's Jason Camisa." And I was like, "I'm fucking Johnny." And I like nearly crashed the thing.
Hilarious.
But because of the delay, I had like an eighth of a mile to the. We were being because they're not street legal, so there was a cop leading us.
Oh,
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Now they're. I should say Ferrari has figured out a way to make them street legal. So because now that they're used cars, like they don't have to have a backup camera and all that. You can't sell a new car in the U.S. without a backup camera, but a used car can be converted. They're figuring it out. Anyhow, so I had like an eighth of a mile with that. So that is all I really got. But I floored it. It was just epic. It was just rad. And then right when I hit whatever top speed I hit, like a bug went right in my eye. So
they look pretty fucking cool.
They're
man.
gorgeous.
They really
Yeah,
They're
they look
gorgeous.
real nasty. I mean, and I love that it's not like that. Looks so much different from it looks more different from an 812 than that new Countach looks from an Aventador.
Oh,
Yes.
You know what I mean?
oh,
Like
way different.
Yeah.
They went crazy. Yeah, I mean, look at that thing.
it looks so fucking nasty.
And what's cool is because you know how Ferrari owners are fairly conservative when they spec their cars, like fairly, compared
Yeah.
to like a Lamborghini or McLaren owner. All these guys, everyone who bought one owns 15 Ferraris. Like literally, I was talking to the guys like, "Oh, I have a black on black Enzo. I have this, But so these they went nuts. So no two are spec alike.
That's cool.
And like there was wild. There was like a green
I saw one that had like the Aston Martin like lips on it almost, right? The green,
Green
with
and
the
yellow,
lips.
yeah.
yeah. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
That's
just
fucking nuts.
They're wild, and and there was 35. It was so cool. It was such a cool. It was such a cool thing.
Was
to
that
do.
one of those like XX events?
No, I don't know what it was. I mean,
Did Ferrari bring all of the cars there to the?
all the owners were there, so I don't know the details. I mean, except for Verlander didn't make it, so I got to drive his car. But like the day before, they did some laps on Laguna Seca. It was like this was like me, Justin Bell, and Bob Varsha were like hosting this Monza event or Ferrari parade. I don't know what you call it for Ferrari. It was like we did like live, like, "Hey, you're pretty rich. What's that like?" But it was. It was 35 Monzas and then 35 other Ferraris that were
On the
worthy
level
being,
of, yeah.
Although one dude, my absolute hero, he had a Mondial T.
Yes.
And it's like, because they're like, "Who do you want to interview?" I'm like, "Him."
Yes.
And they're like, okay, because the producers don't know what a car is, and then somebody caught what they're like, "Wait, why him?" I'm like, "Because he is the best car here."
Yeah.
Like forget about the 288 GTO. I've talked to that guy 100 times.
If that guy also owns like 17 other Ferraris and brought his Mondial T to this event, he's a G.
No, yeah, I think he had his Monza and his Mondial T. Yeah. No, it's the greatest, right? You couldn't be cooler. Yeah.
Yeah, that fucking rules.
So I think sadly, like it broke down. Maybe. So
Oh, no.
It didn't make it. It was there. I saw it. It was in the lineup, but I never got to interview him. But no, it made it. No, it didn't break down. Something happened. It was delayed. Justin interviewed the guy, not me. It was Anyways, it was cool.
I like that guy.
Oh.
That's my guy right there.
But Matt, it was literally like there's all these Monzas, and you take a step back, and there's like a 288 GTO, NF40, and what like
Pebble is just crazy. Like
it's crazy.
that.
It's amazing.
Although Hannah Elliott was here and she said that the traffic outside of the events was conspicuously less baller than normal.
There was just, I got to say, it was great because there was no traffic. There was still like, I tried to have dinner, or I had dinner successfully, but I tried to park for dinner in Carmel, and it was like a half-hour ordeal, right? So it was weird because the events, to me, seemed totally full. So I think what happened was like the looky-loos who just show up to watch because of COVID or whatever didn't show up, but the people that paid $11,000 to stay at Spanish Bay for 5 nights, they all showed up.
Yeah.
So I think that's what happened.
That makes sense. And she said that they said that people were driving around more modern hypercars and shit, and less vintagey stuff being driven around on the street.
There was some of that. There was a lot of like the daily driven exotics guy takeovers, all that nonsense.
That shit, I'm sure those guys are nice guys, but there's something so lame about bragging about daily driving some dual clutch car with fucking dual zone climate control and heated seats. Bro, daily a Diablo and call me. Like, come on.
I mean, it depends on the Diablo. I drove a first year gear Diablo.
It's rough, isn't it?
Oh my god, it's amazing, but like
That's raw.
it's a weapon.
Yeah, you get a Purple Heart after that.
yeah. Because
You see, Paul's got the SV on Bring a Trailer.
Yeah, so
Selling
I
the
drove
SV.
that one,
Yeah.
and that's a sweetheart. You could actually conceivably daily that, whatever daily means. But the Paul's buddy let me drive his first.
Oh, the
year
white
Diablo.
one, Damien's car.
Damien,
Yeah.
Oh, it's so loud.
It's a
oh my
workout.
God, it sounds amazing.
Dude,
Wow.
I thought your Countach had the heaviest clutch of all time. Like,
Actually, no, my Safari had the heaviest.
Oh, really?
The Safari put the Countach to shame in clutches.
because you know when I drove that car when David owned it,
Yeah.
like he went to lunch naturally, and then I'm going back and forth, and the car stalls, and then I can't get it started. I'm doing back and forth for a photo shoot, right? So drive that way, make a 180, and I can't get it started. And so Schaefer was a photographer, so he hops in, fires right up. I'm like, oh, okay. I get in and like I try and shift and stall. And what happened was my leg gave out. I couldn't push the clutch in after. And I'm a strong guy.
Yeah, it's
I
a
have
heavy
strong
clutch.
legs.
It is a heavy clutch. Yeah.
But then that Diablo, like
It's so fucking gnarly.
it's
I know.
great. I love it. I love it.
The Safari though was worse. I mean, in terms of the weight of the clutch.
I wonder why. Like,
Because it just had some fucking motorsport clutch in it that Lee likes, so you can clutch kick it and do all this shit.
I did my first WRX. I was so stupid. I just I looked at the forums and then bought shit based on
Stage 3 clutch, bro.
yes. So I had a 3.
Which turbo did you have?
I had a
PE 1820?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, whatever. I mean, it made 400 horsepower, but it was like totally undrivable. It was literally an undrivable car because I bought this stupid 3-piece clutch that A, was stupid, B, was stupid, C, was never installed by anybody who's ever installed a 3-piece clutch before. It was like, some guy in the valley.
Yeah.
It was just I ruined that poor car.
Yeah, don't ever get more clutch than you need. It's it'll just make the car drive worse.
It was horrible. Luckily that car got totaled. It got rear-ended, and it was it didn't get totaled, but it got rear-ended. And then
The wagon
I had a
one you
black wagon.
Yeah.
Then I bought a blue wagon.
Oh, I remember the blue one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no one ever saw the black.
My 328 has like a super easy clutch, really easy, no problem. Yeah.
That's how it should
and I
be.
can wear shoes driving it. I don't have to take my shoes off.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Well, I mean, this shocks a lot of people that grew up on the internet, but like cars should be kind of easy to drive. Like,
Especially like if it was built after 2000, it should not be a workout to drive like, at all.
Yeah, totally. So,
My Countach is up at Donnie's right now. It took a poo on me at Bill's. And actually, it turns out that was just a relay. I thought it was the coil. It wasn't. Just some dumb relay that he's fixing. But it had this fuel computer in it that, in theory, is supposed to make it better at running 91 octane. But he's like, that's fucking bullshit.
Right.
I don't understand why.
Right.
And so he's taking all of it out, and we're going back to stock. And believe it, he has an OEM fuel computer there.
Sure.
He's got
Why
one.
not? Yeah.
So
Why
he's
not?
like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're just doing that. But Donnie got COVID.
oh no.
So he's recovering right now.
Vaccinated COVID or?
Not vaccinated.
He tested positive?
Yes. Today. I was like, remember when I told you were an asshole 3 days ago? You're an asshole today too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the number of people I know
I'm glad
that
he's
are not
I'm glad he's
vaccinated-
fine. And
For now.
I'm glad he's fine for now. And I called him a fucking asshole to his face multiple times.
Good.
But I also said that I care about you, and I'm glad that you're taking care of yourself. And please stop working on my car and recover and rest. And don't be a fucking asshole.
It's so insane. Like, there's this free miracle thing that you get shot in your arm that takes 5 minutes, and it keeps you alive, and it keeps other people alive.
I recommend it.
And-
FDA approved.
Yeah, and it's like, that's the other it just pisses me off. I don't want to turn this into the vaccine show. However, like, the mRNA vaccine is a fucking miracle that's been 20 years in development. And
Yeah.
it's created for rapid treatment of cancers. So the idea is, every tumor is kind of unique. So you take a little bit of the tumor, you stick it in this thing. 6 weeks later, you can vaccinate a person against their own cancer.
That's crazy.
That's why they were able to, because remember, COVID in the U.S.
I haven't heard the cancer connection before.
That's what it was developed
I didn't
for.
know that.
COVID really hit the U.S. in February of 20. The vaccines were ready in April. You know why? Because they were
'Cause they
developed to
already
do
had-
exactly
yeah.
this.
How interesting.
And then they had to just do clinical trials and then
Yeah,
get
yeah.
emergency approval. But like, it works. You know, it's like people are like, oh, you know, like a few thousand people that got vaccinated got COVID. Yeah, 170 million people have been vaccinated.
Yeah,
and none of them are dying. Like
the percentages are in our favor.
I mean, the U.S.
I don't want to
many,
crap on Donnie. I love Donnie.
I'm sure he's great,
and he'll be fine. But I called him an asshole to his face.
But like, if just every American could have go back in time and take statistics, just
you know, we have, and I don't know if it's because of the internet, or I don't know why it is as humans that we've put more weight. And this is not about COVID. This could be about anything.
Sure.
We put a lot of weight on anecdote and very little weight on data. And the other place I see that manifest itself all the time is motorcycle lane splitting. Motorcycle lane splitting is vastly safer than not having lane splitting.
100%.
And that's because most car on motorcycle collisions,
rear end,
they get crushed in a rear end, and lane splitting eliminates that.
Yeah.
But people see a motorcycle going between cars and go, "Oh my God, it must be so scary! Oh my God!"
Yeah.
But it's like it's not, and that's actually not how people die on motorcycles most of the time. And so the data says that lane splitting is much safer than others, even if to you it looks sketchy.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, we could do the whole show about this. I mean, but if you know, I've wasted way too much of my life reading comments, but like, I'll say something nice about a Camaro, and everyone's like, "You can't see out of it." And I remember Randy Pope said it best. He did one at Streets of Willow. He went quicker than a Ferrari 458 Italia in a SS1LE. And
really?
Like, yeah.
Wow.
And he's like, "I can see pretty good."
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, but it said on the internet you can't see out of it." And then people like they what's the bias, the confirmation bias.
Yeah.
So they'll go to a dealer, they'll hop in it, they won't like really adjust anything, and they're trying not to be able to see out of it. Oh, can't see.
I mean, look, I think the Camaro doesn't have the best visibility of all cars out there.
But have you ever crashed one because you couldn't see something?
No, I have not. But that's a real concern, I think. But there are other things that make that car really nice that don't have anything to do with that. I think not seeing is a valid criticism for certain people. And if you want more visibility, then okay, get something else. But like,
Fair.
it doesn't make it like not fucking fast.
Yeah.
You know what I discovered? Zach discovered last week? The feature on your Instagram where only people you follow can comment.
Oh, that I was looking.
Bro.
So
the game
I'll
has
set it up
changed.
for you for $200.
You don't have to do it every post. It's channel wide.
Right.
It's amazing.
I
Experts only.
Yeah.
Only experts can comment.
I follow too many people for that to work, but I don't. I have like my really evil commenters. I have like 1% of like the actual pit demons that follow and fuck with you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just removed Twitter from my phone and Instagram from my phone.
Yeah.
Not because of commenters, but because I was upset at myself for taking myself out of the moment that I was in my life, enjoying. I had the other day, we went to see a concert. I had a great time. Went to see Rise Against. It was fun. And rather than, I was in the moment most of the time, but I left the moment to look at my social media.
Yeah.
And I was just, I went home and I was ashamed of myself for not
That's good you're
being
aware.
in the moment. And so I, a couple of years ago, took all social media off my phone and I crept back in and I just wiped it again. And I think that, and I pulled out some books that I'd bought and haven't read, and I put them out on my table at home. And I said, you know, every time you want to, you get the urge to go look, you pick up this book instead. And I think that's probably the right move.
If you can keep it up, that's great. Because I did that like, probably when COVID started, I said, anytime you feel like looking at Instagram, pick up a book. And the same thing. I didn't stick to it. I basically stopped Facebook. I basically stopped Twitter. I'll just do I'll I see your stuff and I'll just, you know, do some snarky comment. But I never like post on Twitter really. I spend way too much time on Instagram. That said, for me, there's career benefits to being on Instagram. And again, like out of all the stuff I've posted this week, I've had like one guy that like called me a clown and accused me of being on Lucid's payroll.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Yeah, the payroll one. Yeah, the payroll is good. No, look, they're shitty people.
But you.
My people
I
are
don't know
horrible.
what it is about you.
They're horrible.
Like I've just never, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just like the bigger you get as a celebrity, the more people feel they know you or something.
I guess. I don't know what it is either, but people are exceptionally shitty to me. Maybe it's because they know I'm sensitive.
Could be that. Or you respond in a certain way.
Or I respond in a certain way, but I'm trying to improve myself.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like just like be in a better headspace.
Yeah.
Part of that is quitting weed.
Well, how's that going, by the way?
Fucking great.
What about the caffeine, though? That's the part that disturbed me.
I'm starting to find little parts of my day where I'd like a little caffeine.
Yeah.
Come on back to us, man.
Caffeine wasn't like I'm a fucking junkie. Like I just was like I
drinking 5
feel
cups
like
a day.
this is not affecting me well, and I've been drinking decaf and I've been enjoying it actually, and I might go back to a little bit of midday caffeine eventually, but not smoking weed. I feel really good. Actually.
Look,
I'm happy.
I'm going to say something, and don't. I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but like, you know, when I first started getting to know you, you were stoned a lot, and I was like, oh, this, you know, whatever. But then when I would see you when you weren't, I was like, this guy is like really, really smart and is doing everything in his power not to show anyone how smart he is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's nice.
You know what I mean?
I appreciate that.
And I was just like, oh, you know, and there was, you know, when we do stuff like that, I mean, you'd have a hit, but you weren't like stoned.
Well, look, weed. I stopped using weed socially probably 2 or 3 years ago.
Yes.
And it really just became my medicine for my self-diagnosed, self-prescribed medicine for my anxiety.
Right.
As it turns out, I think that weed and caffeine was contributing more to the anxiety than it was solving. But I couldn't see that.
Right.
Once I got sponsored by Tradecraft, okay, and I love those guys. And,
I saw him at Pebble. Nice guys.
And Jeff and Tommy, I love those guys. They're such great guys.
Yep.
And if you smoke weed, being paid to smoke a particular brand is the mountaintop.
Yeah.
And so I went with that because why would you turn that down if you like weed?
Yeah.
But after a while, I was smoking an eighth a day. Of
That's
flour,
a fucking lot.
plus pens.
Yeah.
I was being paid to do that.
But still.
And it's high grade.
Yeah.
It's really high percentage stuff.
Yeah.
And it was causing just this constant state of it feels like you're overwhelmed. Everything is overwhelming. The littlest inconvenience is overwhelming. And I just said, I don't think I can do it anymore.
I think it's a huge positive for you. I really do. I mean, look, for me, I quit smoking pot in college. Like for whatever reason, the way marijuana, and everyone's, try the sativa, the way marijuana affects me is I become paranoid beyond belief. I'll tell you exactly the moment. It was like right after college, I went to Amsterdam, and we got stoned at a cafe. Great, Amsterdam weed.
I love Amsterdam so much. What a great city. Even if you don't smoke weed, Amsterdam is such a fabulous place.
It's amazing. But this is like back in like 97. Right? So anyways, we get...
Oh, and it was a real novelty to go to Amsterdam and get high.
It really was.
Yeah,
but so we get really stoned, and we go, like every 22-year-old on earth, to the Van Gogh Museum.
Yeah.
And again, like one of the greatest painters of all time, blah, blah, blah. And all I'm thinking about is like, oh my God, someone's going to know I'm stoned. And then like this voice was like, hey, idiot. You are in the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam. This is literally the stoniest fucking place on earth. Like, if you weren't stoned, that would be weird.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I gotta get off this shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is messing me up.
That never bothered me because I never cared if anyone knew I was stoned or not. But it was more.
No, I'm just saying, like, over just my paranoia about everything, which I guess is a type of anxiety.
Well, most people would refer to it as paranoia. But once you're not afraid of anyone knowing you're high, you're not afraid of going to jail, you're not afraid of the normal things that people are afraid of, that they would call paranoia. What you're left with is just this constant anxiety that where everything feels overwhelming.
Right.
And I had a really rough 2 weeks. I was shitty to everybody, and now I haven't had a panic attack in over a week.
Good.
Which is that's a long time for me.
That's good.
And
did you see Woke Wheels ask me to check in on you?
You know, that guy, whoever that is, and I don't know who that is.
I don't know who it is.
They wrote something incredibly shitty about me on Instagram the other day, and it hurt my feelings, actually.
I'll just say this. They asked me to check in on you. So
Well, they wrote something really mean about me on Instagram.
Yeah, well,
it
they can
wasn't.
be mean,
It was
yeah.
based on something that wasn't true.
Yep.
And it hurt my feelings.
Yeah,
And
they tried to stir up shit about me a year ago during BLM. And
Yeah.
it was like very selective grab of one of our podcasts. I was
Yeah.
like, if anybody has ever talked to me or listened to more of the show, like
Yeah.
they know where we stand on these
Yeah,
things.
no. He pulled a reply. I assume it's a he. Pulled a reply to a tweet I had and took that to spin it because I said that I don't shop for cars by price point, which means I don't find myself with money, no matter how much it is, whether it's $5,000 or $10,000 or $500,000, and then go, what can I buy with this?
Right.
That's not how I shop.
Right.
I go, hey, there's something that I might want. Can I afford it?
Yeah.
And if not, what can I do to work harder or earn money to afford it?
Exactly right. Yeah.
I don't go, hey, I've got $50,000. What can I spend it on? And that was my point of the tweet. And this person shat on me for saying I was talking down to the poors for not being immediately familiar with what $20,000 buys you in sports cars.
You can't win with money. So like I had this shitty thing happen today. Just to get off woke wheels. I honestly, I don't want anything to do because like anything I say can be taken out of context at any moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it was just, I don't follow them. I just was tagged in something.
Me too.
So I
Same
looked,
thing.
and it's like, Johnny, like, I know I was mean to Matt, but could you please check on him? We're worried about him.
Well, they could have messaged that to me directly.
Yeah, of
and
course.
said, I'm sorry I was mean to you, rather than fucking third partying it. Hey, hey, check on the other Jew.
Yeah. Well, it was actually, to be fair, it was to a lot of Jews. It was to Spike and Zuckerman and me. Check on the Jew. But, no, like today this guy was like, I can't even remember the context of it, but he was yelling at me about Lucid saying, you can't even afford it. Like, how can you review it? And, you know, I don't want to be, I'll say it on the podcast because whatever, but like, I could, if I emptied out my bank account, I could buy one. You know, I have savings. I'm not an idiot. I don't, you know, but like.
Well, but if that, how does that work?
No, it doesn't.
So
it doesn't
we're only going to get car reviews from billionaires?
Right, well, and those are the most boring of all.
And that's the word.
Oh,
the
geez,
person I
kill
want to
me.
hear
Yeah.
from the least
Yeah.
is the person who just buys the shit and then makes a video about it. That's
Right.
I want to hear from that person, not ever.
Right, but my point is, you. So I was like, do I respond and say if I like liquidated my mutual funds and cashed in my crypto, I could hella buy that car, but I'm not going to because I'm planning for the rest of my fucking life.
And if you wanted to talk shit about me and say I was some kind of elitist, you go, well, what does he know? He has a Ferrari and a Lamborghini.
Right.
Well, but what if I told you that the Ferrari and the Lamborghini I own were the ones on my wall when I was a kid?
No, totally.
They're not the newest, flashiest, dopest, paint to sample Ferrari and Lamborghini. They're 30 years old. I had them on my wall.
But even so did I. I don't have. But even if you had the newest, blah, 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 so what?
Yeah,
That's I love cars. Like it's just like. There's nothing. It's like people that have expensive watches with taste,
Right.
You know, if you're buying the Bugatti watch,
Oh,
I'm
you
not
went to
that
HQ
interested.
Milton, didn't you?
Yes.
How awesome is HQ Milton?
All I gotta say is this: I walked in, and the first watch I saw was a fucking Platona, and like
For those who don't know what that is, that's a platinum Daytona.
yeah, that weighs about
Fire.
7 pounds.
270 grams or
Yeah,
something.
like
so heavy.
Like I wear a Sin that's about 230. You know, I mean this thing.
No,
it's on my
yeah,
Instagram.
That's it on the left. It's
Yeah.
$120,000.
Yeah, well, they're all over the place.
They're all like they're all over. But HQ Milton is Zach. Were you with me? I don't know if you were with me. It's right around the corner from
told me
Bring a
that. I have
Trailer's
not been.
old place.
Yeah, it's in the Mission.
And
in
I
San
tried to
Francisco.
show up there with no appointment, and they told me to basically go fuck myself.
They're really nice.
No, they are. It wasn't them. It was the pawn shop.
Oh,
was like,
right.
yeah, no appointment, get lost.
Yeah, they're above. Actually, if you go to my,
It's really interesting. The father owns the pawn shop, and the son owns the high-end watch place upstairs.
not that one. The next post down, for those watching on YouTube. Yeah, that one. So that's the front of HQ Milton.
Yeah.
So it's like a totally spray painted, graffiti covered pawn shop with this insane watch store on top. And then if you click through the photos,
HQ Milton was where Carl used to go shop for watches when he was in San Francisco.
Oh,
He told
yeah.
me about it.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. The Platinum Daytona with diamond indices.
Dude,
That is good.
yeah. So it's like, And again, could I buy it? There is a way I could buy this watch. I'm not going to, but now it's on my radar, which sucks.
I know. Isn't it crazy when you get the taste? It's hard to go back, right?
I was talking with Thomas Ma, that Alpha Lux guy.
Oh yeah,
with
Alpha
carbon
Lux.
fiber.
Yeah.
Awesome guy, but he made a point where he was like, he's like, I don't actually shop. Same point you made. He's like, I don't shop by price. He's like, if I like something, then it's worth the price.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't that attitude works at all income levels.
Yeah.
You don't have to be super. I mean, we're not all shopping for platinum Daytonas. I'm not shopping for fucking platinum Daytonas.
I wish I was.
But I mean, of course, we all wish we did.
Yeah.
We all wish we were balling like that. This is not. It's not like anybody out there doesn't want to have money to buy fun shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And if you don't, you're lying. But because so many people, it's such a common thing for people to ask us on this show what a certain amount of money will get them.
Right.
To me, it's just an interesting attitude that is completely opposite how I think about shopping for cars or watches or whatever.
So I'll give you the corollary. So I get asked about whiskey, mostly because I do your show. But I get asked about whiskey all the time.
Right.
And it's 99% of those questions are, what's the best I can get for $100?
Sure.
I don't shop for that. I honestly don't buy which is, am I the biggest snob in the world? Yes, I am. Yeah. But so now, and with whiskey for some reason, it's funny and no one gives me shit about it. But I'm like, I don't know. If you want to talk about $1,000 bottles of whiskey, I know a lot about that. But I see you do that, and I saw that Twitter thing where you said that, which was totally valid, what you said, and people
got shitty about it.
I don't know what it is about you, man.
I wasn't saying like,
I hate poor people.
and I wasn't saying like,
Yeah.
ew, $20,000 sports cars, ew.
Yeah.
I was not saying that. I was just saying that I don't go to Auto Tempest and type in
Right. Search
18.5 to 21.5, search all. That's not that's not how I work.
I'll give you a great example. So I'm obsessed with Citroens, the DSs and SMs.
Ooh, there was a DS wagon at the at San Marino.
Safari
It was
night.
fire.
So I like DSs exactly as much today, now that they're approaching six figures, as I did when I passed the opportunity to buy the best one in the world for $11,000 about 11 years ago.
Yeah.
It's the same car.
Yeah.
It just went up. So the price sucks, but back then I didn't have 11,000. By the way, I could do it today. I don't have 100,000.
Right.
That I can safely allocate towards a car.
And there's a bunch of cars like that for me.
Yeah.
There was cars where I was like, oh shit, wait, I might want an E46 M3. Oh fuck, a good one's now 50. Never mind.
Yeah, I'll give you a good one for 40.
You don't have a good one.
But
Not wrong.
like my buddy, I'll leave his name out of it because he's getting a bigger presence. But when he saw that Platona, he's like, oh my God, he's like, those were $60,000 a couple years ago. This is a guy who could buy 10 at $60,000. He can only buy 5 at $120,000 or whatever. But you know what I mean? I don't know. People get weird about money, and they attack you.
And they attack me a lot because my dad's rich. What the fuck? I'm an easy
You're an
target.
asshole.
I'm an
How
easy
dare you be
target
born?
because my dad is rich.
Right.
And
Right.
I would like to think that I do my best to not be a shitbag. That's all I can do.
And you never have. I've known you for. I
got a couple of nice things. I've had a couple of nice experiences.
Yeah.
But I'm trying not to be a shitbag. That's all.
You're not. Yeah. Anyways, I don't want to kiss your ass, but you're not. And also, unlike, I don't know. I don't want to say unlike, but you work really hard.
Well, that's my coping mechanism.
Okay,
my coping mechanism for my feelings of inadequacy from my father is to work myself to death.
Right.
That's how I do.
Yeah.
So I've always been you can call me a rich boy. You can call me whatever. You could say, oh, your dad gave you this.
Right.
But you could never, ever say that I didn't bust my fucking balls as hard as I could at the thing that I could do.
No, because I've been on.
You can't tell me that. True.
I've been on 24 launches with you where everyone else is done drinking and you start filming.
Yeah, I work.
Yeah, which I'm always
I go to those and work.
Yeah. No, I'm like that. Look at the size of that gin and tonic in Portugal.
Them videos didn't make themselves, man.
Right.
You know?
No, so I'm always.
I try to respect my privilege and disclose my privilege wherever I can. I come from privilege. There's nothing I can do about it now, other than to not be a shitbag.
That's like hating someone for like their religion or their ethnicity or whatever. Like it's just,
Zach's the only white person I employ. Everyone else
he's
I employ,
Jewish.
Everyone else I employ is non-white.
That's
That's my one thing, and it's not some affirmative action bullshit. I found people that were great at their jobs that are non-white.
Well, you're also in the most diverse city like in America.
True,
so
but I'm trying to break the cycle or whatever, give other people a leg up.
Yeah.
And so everyone who works for me at WCCS is non-white. That's what I'm trying to do: is break a cycle, help where I can, and not be a piece of shit. That's all I can do.
Yeah. I get it. My whole point was like I will look at your comments whenever I feel bad about my comments. I'm like, what did Matt say today?
Economies of scale.
Matt said he liked the BMW. Like, here comes the bazookas.
But the problem with the 20K thing, especially, or any dollar-based used car question, is that the answer is always in flux.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? 20K today and 20K 6 months ago or a year ago. It's it was like a 95 BMW M3 went from on Bring a Trip. And it was a shitty one. It wasn't a good one.
No, I saw it.
It had a fucking dildo shifter. The fucking driver's seat bolsters were fucked. It was like not a nice car.
I saw it.
And it went for all the money. It had all the miles on it. And so, that's where that starts. I mean, it's just.
I feel like something we're also trying to teach our audience is when they ask us, "What should I get for 15 grand or 50 grand or whatever?" We constantly ask, "What do you want to do with the car? What are you looking for with the car?" So when someone sends you this blanket question of, "Why are you not in touch with what's available for $20,000?" It's like, what's the criteria? Because what's available is literally everything from a Miata to a lifted truck.
To a Bentley Turbo R.
Yeah, you get a Bentley Turbo. I mean, dude, you go to Scottsdale.
That's
Barrett
always
Jackson,
my example.
And you get a Bentley Turbo R. Like somebody will pay 35 grand for an IROC Z.
Can we go to Barrett next year together?
Let's go. As long as we come back in a Bentley, doesn't matter.
We should go. We should allocate funds. And we should go and we should buy something real stupid.
Again, I sit there.
I love Barrett Jackson.
I will film
Scottsdale. It would be so fun.
But I love Barrett Jackson Scottsdale because, again, there's an IROC Z that goes for like $35,000, and then there's a 996 with a mile on it that goes for $13,000. It's the bizarro world. You know what I mean? It's like. I've driven IROC Zs from 1984.
Oh my God, they're not good.
That's a very nice way of saying what I was going to say. Yeah. And like a 996, like a silver manual with 2 miles on it. Like, oh my God, what a great car.
My favorite part, like at Mecum, is the bid goes on room. The stuff that doesn't. So if you go to Mecum, it's the stuff that doesn't sell. It's not a no reserve auction. So it goes in this other room. The bid goes on, and then it becomes a silent auction. And they slap a piece of paper on the window, and you just write your fucking bid. And then at the end of Sunday, that's it. Wow. And here's the bid goes on. Look, Maserati Cambia Corsa, $12K.
Shit.
1991 Dodge Stealth, $13K.
That's
bro.
I mean, but
there's
I get the idea.
But there's some real interesting, like sort of forgotten. Dude, 89 Corvette convertible, fucking $10K.
Oh, that was the other one. When that $35,000 IROC Z I keep referencing, there was like a C4 ZR1 that went for $20, and somebody paid $35 for the IROC, and I'm like, I'm just sitting there like, what? Like. Yeah.
C4 ZR1s are that's a real sleeper.
That's a good car.
Oh, Mondial Cab, $32K. Yeah, $32K for a Mondial Cab.
And you could drive onto the lawn with a Monza.
Dude, 83 Porsche 911 SC, high bid, $28,000.
And if you put that on
$50,000 car.
Hang on, bring a trailer. That's a $7 million car, right?
Yes,
it's got a tint or whatever.
I mean, bro, did you see the 06 Cayenne Turbo S go for $62,000? I was like, what the fuck is going on? We are in bizarro world.
It wasn't bring a trailer, but there was a 2021 G63 for $329. That's a $150,000 car that I don't know how many miles you can put on a car in 2021. It was. I'll show you it's on my Instagram.
No, I saw it on your Instagram. It was ridiculous. It's tan, and it's tan.
That's a good color, but
What?
It's actually 330. I didn't even notice that.
Did they put negative miles on it?
It's ridiculous.
You know,
Double sticker?
Here's what's crazy though. Like if you go to Beverly Hills Mercedes and you just see a regular G63, like since the new ones came out, they've been 60,000 over for the 63.
Just fuck out of here,
just
really?
from day one. 60,
See, this is the things I don't study.
and everyone buys them.
Do you think that's because? Do you think Mercedes knew the supply chain issue was going to come with the V8s and everything?
No.
Or is it just
This is
the
I'm
market?
going back to 2019.
Oh,
this is
even before?
since they came out, it's been. Look,
They can't physically build and sell enough of them in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, Beverly Hills. It's the Honda Accord of Beverly Hills.
I mean,
you know?
Wow.
it is really shocking how many of them you
There's
see.
so
we
many.
you know, they talk about us living in a bubble here in LA.
Yeah.
And I have to say, like, in some ways they're right. Like when I just went to Georgia to drive 992 GTS, which I can't talk about yet. I'm
Right,
sorry,
right.
but we'll get to it eventually.
I drove a Lucid. Can't talk about that.
Yeah, right. There's things we can't talk about. But I hadn't really traveled and driven much recently.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah.
And when I did, I went to the middle of fucking nowhere. So here I am in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Big city, major city. And I was shocked, first off, at how few Teslas I saw.
And the amount of Nissans you saw.
I mean,
Atlanta is the capital of
is the
Nissan.
Nissan and Dodge Charger capital of the world. Yes, that's definitely true. But also, I mean, how many of how few of the high end German stuff I saw as well by comparison. Yeah. I really was like, oh shit, I guess I do live in a fucking bubble here about this stuff.
I mean, another thing.
Car wise, yeah, absolutely.
Thank God. But anyways, another thing I can't talk about.
Oh, so that's why we live here.
That's 100%. Yeah.
We live here for that reason.
Yeah, I love cars, but I can't talk about it. But I drove from like rural Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi, Arkansas, and for anyone, Oklahoma. There's nothing but pickup trucks. Like literally in the rural, we were very rural, but I mean, I would say 95% of the things we saw were pickup trucks. All kinds of vintages, from like, you know, awesome 50s stuff to brand new 6-figure, you know, King Ranchy dually stuff. All pickup. I mean, there's nothing else. There's no one has anything else except for Dodge Chargers.
And
Oldsmobiles. Like so many.
Really?
Yeah, so many Oldsmobiles.
One of the most random shits at the fucking San Marino Classic the other day was like, it was right next to a bunch of Avantis.
Oh, yeah.
It was a 1981 Oldsmobile Cutlass 2-door. Like I think you'd call it a B body, maybe.
Yeah, it's a B body. Yeah.
And it was mint. I mean, really mint. And kudos to that guy.
Yeah.
It just looked like
That's awesome. I mean, next to an Avante, it's kind of like
it did make sense.
Match.
It did make sense. There was 4 Avantis, and they were actually one of them was super nice.
Yeah, Avantis.
You ever drive one of them?
Did I drive it? No, I rode in one in Texas once. I didn't drive it.
Was it like anything?
It was cool. I mean,
just feel like an old muscle car kind
It
of.
was supercharged. No, it was such a nice interior compared to like an old muscle car.
Right. Oh yeah, you want some of these?
Oh yeah.
You want a cube?
You can finish this too.
No, that's for you.
That's the rocket fuel.
It really, it's got some
It is
spice.
delicious, but it's
Yeah.
horse. I got the horsepower on it. I shout out to Tony, our friend Tony A, who is a customer here at WCCS and is a fan of the show. Donates a lot through the super chat. Is very very supportive of our work.
Elmer
he sent
T.
me
Lee,
this
baby.
bottle of Elmer T. Lee, and shout out to Tony for the bottle. It is very good, especially with a cube.
I mean, I'm not 100% on this, and someone will tell me I'm an idiot, but I believe it's like Blanton's is 80 proof, and the exact same
It tastes
juice.
really familiar, really like a lot like Blanton's.
Yeah, at 90
This
proof.
is also from Buffalo Trace.
Actually, Blanton's might be 93 proof, and this is 90 proof. So this
It's
might be
good.
a little.
It's good.
I can't remember.
Fuck with it.
Okay.
Zach seemed like we had a lot of questions. Did we, Zach?
Yes, we do.
All right, we can get to those. Did we? Let's see. Anything else we need to cover?
I can't talk about Lucid, but that's been
Besides
my big
that,
thing. Yeah.
any other range we need to cover?
I'm driving that M8 that you drove.
Oh, the Carbon?
Yeah, tomorrow.
It's so fucking fast.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, what is it, 900 horsepower?
880 horsepower. It boogies. And our video just went up today. We talked about it before. Check out our show with Steve Dinan. He was great.
Yeah, Steve is such a good guy. He really is a nice
The
guy.
power is the woo, but
Yeah.
but what you will appreciate
Is the handling.
Because
they missed with the coupe. Like I really like the Grand Coupe. I was talking to Zach about this before the show, but like the The M8 Grand Coupe I think is wonderful. Like that's the BMW to buy.
We haven't had to go in a Grand
You
Coupe
gotta
yet.
get.
Yeah, we gotta get one.
It's kind of rad because in a weird way, even though I think it's gorgeous, it's sort of like there's so many in LA that it's like under the radar, and it's it's not an M2 or an M4, so like it's for old men or whatever, but it's like elegant yet it's 617 horsepower and all-wheel drive.
It's actually like, in fairness, it's tough to justify an M8 versus an M4 because there's not a lot more extra room inside.
No, there isn't. Yeah,
it's like kind of the same size.
Yeah.
Inside.
You do get a crystal shift knob.
Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
and you got 2 more cylinders.
Yeah.
It's about the power, but
and also, as we now know, like the M4 competition is just they're insane.
it's real fast.
It's so fast.
Yeah, it's really fast.
it's
You were right. The competition's way better
you
than
were
the
right.
non-competition.
The stick shift one is just
underwhelming, right? Yeah, it was underwhelming.
Yeah.
They the competition. I mean, I hated how it looks, but I did like how it drove.
You got to do hats off to how I drove it like back to back with a GT3, and like GT3 had better steering, blah blah whatever. But like, I think on a canyon road, I think the M4 walks away, or I drove an M3 comp, but it walks away from the GT3. It's just
Is it softer? So it's
no, it's just there's just so much torque and it's so aggressive and it's just on a racetrack I'm sure the GT3 eats it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no. Magnus and I were talking about this. We agreed that on a canyon road and every day that the GT3 is no longer really the answer.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's kind of twitchy.
It's
and
a track car.
Yeah, and you got to zing the fuck out of the motor.
Yes. I did this weird thing when I had not weird, it was the asshole thing, but I was on 9 Mile, Upper Big, and I was about a mile from the end, and a dude went by me in like a 991. And I'm like, I'm gonna go to the stop sign and make a U-turn, and I'm gonna catch him. And he was sailing. We probably had like a 200 mile an hour speed differential. It was really dangerous. And I caught the guy before the end of 9 Mile.
Yeah.
And he found me like a week later, and he's like, "How did you do that?" And I'm like, "The
car.
M4 competition is a 5-legged man at an ass-kicking party. It just is. It just."
Oh, right. We got some questions from the
All
people,
right.
and we have enough that if you have not yet submitted one,
I told
you
him
shouldn't.
to cease.
Great. Polar Bear says, in the current market, is it a worse idea to buy a sports car or a Rolex if you'd like to get most of your money back eventually? If you want to get...
He phrased that funny, but I think he means...
He means what's a better investment?
Yeah.
A Rolex or a sports car? Percentage-wise?
Rolex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Because
no
you don't have
maintenance
to
costs.
insure, maintain, or do tires or anything, or put fuel in a Rolex.
Nothing. You just let it sit
You
there.
service it
You put
once
in a
every
safe.
20 years.
You put it in a safe and forget about it.
Yeah, or you wear it. But
Don't get crazy.
look, Steel Rolex Professional Series, right now in this market, it's a fabulous investment. I mean, you might not make money, but you certainly won't lose any. And so I can't argue with that. Whereas even with a sports car, there's
never
no
know.
sports car that doesn't cost you money.
Yeah.
So you're already starting in the hole.
And you never know. You never know.
Let's see. Scouting for Zen was in L.A. first time recently for the Harley Sportster S launch on Angeles Crest. And do I want to get the S as a press bike? Not only do I want to get it as a press bike, I get it on Monday.
Oh.
The new Harley Sportster is very exciting because it has the Pan America engine in it.
You lost me.
Okay, here's what matters, right?
Yeah.
In the past,
by the way, you lost me at motorcycle.
here's
Go
what
ahead.
matters in the past. Harley-Davidson engines were measured in cubic inches.
Right.
Whereas European and Japanese motorcycles are measured in cubic centimeters. The Pan America, the Harley adventure bike, is the first Harley that's measured in cubic centimeters. That engine is a dual overhead cam engine with cylinder deactivation, multiple ride modes, and a fucking buttload of power. They just shoved it in the Sportster, which is the little bike. Very exciting. I'm
not excited.
I am really excited to have a go in this thing. It looks super hot, and so I have it coming on Monday.
Cool.
You know, as Zuckerman pointed out, the 2 leading causes of penis injuries are dog bites and motorcycles. So,
If you crash a motorcycle, I think you're going to hurt a lot more than your dick.
well, but if you think about what you need when you recover,
Zuckerman
Trust me.
is so gold.
he's insane. Yeah.
Because people it takes a really good radio producer like Opie found Anthony,
Yeah.
and then he found Carl,
Yeah.
and then he found blue collar people that were amazing, and they were not broadcasters, but they were brilliant broadcasters once they had the chance.
Right.
And Anthony has his own issues, but no denying he was a brilliant broadcaster. Carl Ruiz was one of the best radio broadcasters I've ever heard in history, and he fucking cooked food.
Right.
Paul Zuckerman is one of the most brilliant
Dude,
radio broadcasters.
I'm on the
ever.
show now. Like you don't like. I get to see him.
When he does his Dear Abby bit.
Oh yeah,
I
Dear
am
Zuckerman.
dying.
No. It's all about his true life insurance stories. Those are the ones. And I'll plug my own show for a second. It's Bugattis in Baldwin Hills. He tells the story of like Flavio, the mozzarella truck driver who hurts his thumb. It's the funniest. I was laughing a week later. Like,
Dude, his delivery is so good.
he's incredible, yeah.
Like, he must be, I'd love to watch him in court. He must be so good at winning over a jury.
Yeah. I don't know. Look, all I'm saying is like he has to turn something on to get to the Zuckerman you hear on the radio. And so for the 15 minutes we're fucking around before we start, I get to see what he says that's not on the air, and it's like 50 times funnier.
It's crazy.
It's insane.
He's one of the best non-broadcaster broadcasters.
He's incredible.
Yeah,
he's incredible.
Andrew Jackson says, is the Fiesta ST still a $20,000 driving experience? I'm coming out of a modified 2015 GTI, but looking to save money. Listen, saving money, going out of one car and into another car costs money.
I'm also going to break this Mr. Jackson's heart. Somebody left a note on my car that they'd pay me $25K cash for my...
Did you sell?
No.
Are you going to keep it?
I don't know what I'm going to do. I kind of have this desire to get an SUV.
Well,
I don't know why, but
because you have a kid and live in Los Angeles. And
Nope.
No? Why?
I keep scratching press cars by going off roading, and like it's kind of wearing on me. Like I hate the phone call because I don't care. You know.
Are you going off roading recreationally or to test the cars?
I just I booked like I don't know 5 SUVs that can go off road in a row, and I just went up to Rower like 5 weeks in a row, and then I took my nephew. I'm trying to hang out with my nephew more, and it's a great little thing we can do during COVID.
Yeah.
Go off roading together. I just really like it. I've always liked it. I mean, the first press car I ever drove, I was 15 and a half. I had my permit, and I drove a Range Rover. In like '89, my friend's dad worked for Trailer Life magazine. He got press cars, so he's like, "You have a permit," so I got to go off roading. I grew up off roading. I love it.
Would you go off roading with your own truck?
I would, yeah. Well, especially if I have a Jeep 392 because it's the best off roader.
There you go.
I totally get it, man. Like our off-road videos usually don't do that well, but every time we do it, or every time we do overlanding trips, I'm like, this is so fun, and so great. But you worry about hurting the car, and you got to make the video and do the thing. And I come home and I'm like, I just want to buy a Montero and just join the Glucker clan.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't know, just after so many years, like because like if you heard a car making a video, but it's like, oh yeah, I just didn't have to, but I took your G63 off-roading, and I scratched it because...
I've never had a press person... I know I hate making the call, too, but I've never had anyone be upset with me if I scratched a car off-road. Haven't.
There's one brand, I won't mention them, but we were talking about them earlier, that is mad. But like, for instance, not off-road, but I hit a deer in an S-Class the other day.
Yeah, that's gnarly.
But it was Mercedes. Are you okay? Yeah. And I hit the deer Monday morning. Literally, second comment was, "Oh my God, you just got the car Friday night. We have to get you another one. You had no time with it."
That's that's very nice.
Yeah.
It is very nice.
Yeah. But anyways, Fiesta ST is a $25,000 driving experience. Mine, at least. I love it.
But if you have a modified GTI, getting out of that to go into a Fiesta ST, well, they do feel different, but I don't know if it's going to be different enough that this person is going to be that excited.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a good decision financially.
That's true.
It's not a good decision financially, but like you might have a little more fun, but like I can't in good conscience advise that you do that financially.
I'll just say that for whatever reason, I've never clicked with GTIs. Like they're nice, and I get they have good-looking seats, which people seem to really care about. But like Fiesta ST, WRX, like man, you can just do crazy fun things in those cars.
I was way more attached to our little Fiesta ST than to any GTI I ever drove.
Yes.
So I'm talking about a finance perspective.
Oh, yeah.
From a fun perspective, yes, a Fiesta ST that's in good shape is still a $20,000 driving experience, for sure. Those things are going to be worth a goddamn fortune in 20 years if they're going to be stock in under 50,000 miles.
I will also say this: if they hold together,
Well, that's the other thing is that, we had ours new and we sold it with 35,000 miles on it. I don't know what it's like to buy one with 50,000 or 60,000 miles on it. I have no idea.
Mine has 41 or 2,000 miles on it, but about 3,000 miles ago-ish, I had to just take it to the dealer and be like, every noise you make, like, fix it. Like, every fucking part of the car rattles.
Yeah.
Like, every single part.
Trimble just bought a Fiesta ST.
Yeah.
Really?
Another one.
Yeah, she bought another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she paid way too much money for it because it had very low miles and it was very nice. But she was like, what am I going to get that's more fun than this?
It's a crazy dilemma. Yeah.
Zach, can you look up Pam 687 for this next question, and I'll come back. I'll come back to that in a second once I have a photo of that. New Baz says, speaking of bikes, people have mentioned inviting Zach Kortz and Ari Henning.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Oh,
who is
yeah,
that?
they're the best.
Who are they?
They did that show. It was on two wheels. They did the motorcycle show on
it's
Motor Trend.
motorcycles.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And they're such great guys. And they're fucking nuts. Like,
Oh, I see this. Okay, yeah, okay.
yeah, which one was it? Ari. Wait, which one? No, I can't. God damn it. One of them, like, they basically finished shooting a video. They were down in like Baja and they bought fireworks. And one of them like basically blew his face off.
Oh
like,
my God, really?
Like it was okay, but like it was bad. I think it was.
Don't buy fireworks in
think it was-
Mexico.
I think it was
You
Zach.
can't trust a Mexican firework.
Yeah, of course you can. They're the best. Turkish are better.
Italian. Italian fireworks.
Trust me.
Isn't it Zambelli? Isn't that the main big firework
the
company?
Italians get them from Turkey. I was in Yorkshire, England one time.
The Italians outsource that shit to Istanbul.
Pirelli makes a lot of tires in Turkey, but I was in England and we had some Turkish fireworks and like
That's what's up?
military grade. Dude.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
Amazing.
Okay.
I mean,
Turkish fireworks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we were just lighting off bombs. It
Okay,
was awesome. Yeah.
I'll fuck with Turkish fireworks. So
Yeah, yeah.
somebody's from Turkish fireworks. Let's have fun. Polar Bear said, when I asked about Panerais, you said buy what they are known for, which is the simplicity, big bold letters, simplicity, sandwich dials, and then he had thoughts on the Pam 687, which actually is one of my favorite Panerais. It's called the Acaccio, which is a sunburst style, almost like a 59 Les Paul. It's a beautiful piece.
So
I love this watch. I got one as a demo back in the day. It's a fucking spectacularly beautiful watch.
The only thing I'll say is my favorite pans. It is gorgeous, but the 6 and the 9 are like the font is just on the Comic Sans tip a little too much.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a little Comic
but
Sans.
they all
close.
are. That's the Panerai font.
It's a
but
Panerai, yeah.
a lot of pans have the 9 is replaced by a second hand.
Yeah.
And so if you just have the 6 as opposed to the 6 and the 9, or sometimes the 6 is replaced with a date or whatever.
Right. Or a power reserve gauge, yeah.
Whatever it is, I like those better. Like
Sure.
I have that Crown and Caliber gave me that. I can't remember what it's called, but it's the 47 millimeter.
It's the
Panerai.
Luminor Marina 1950, I think, which
it's
is
1950.
which has the
It's
seconds
it's
on
the
it.
40,
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that
It's a fucking boat anchor.
I love it. I love it.
Now,
Yeah.
see, this one I like because
It's gorgeous.
It's
I
a
mean-
radio mirror. It's thinner and it's a little lighter by Panerai standards.
Yeah.
And I love this sunburst style. So to answer the
cool.
gentleman's question, I'm a huge fan of this watch, and you should absolutely buy one. They fucking rule.
Yep, I love Panerai.
Very,
I was
very
getting yelled
pretty.
at by Thomas Ma because somebody on Instagram said, "What's your favorite dress watch?" And there's this white face, blue lettered Panerai.
Oh, I know that one. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just the great.
Luminor base. It's actually
No,
called.
no, it's the day. It's a 2-watch set. They did a night and a day.
Oh,
and
cool.
it's the day. Anyways, but he's like, Panerai's not a dress watch, and I'm like,
It could be.
for me, this one
could
is
be
Yeah,
a dress
if
watch?
it costs $10,000, it's a dress watch.
It's
in my
well, it's
opinion. And I
15
think they look
grand for
very
the
nice.
set.
Yeah, there's no listen. Dress watches. That's not how you do. A Panerai could absolutely be a dress watch. 100%.
I just love. I love pans. I love them, and I also love how much some people hate them.
People really have
It's like the
opinions on them, don't
Lamborghini
they?
of the
Right.
of the watch world.
They are. If you were gonna, yes, a Panerai is absolutely the Lamborghini of watches for sure. Some of them are great. Some of them are really obnoxious. Some of them are too complicated. When they do what they do well, which is those bold, big letters, sandwich styles,
They're just rad.
I love them.
They're just rad.
I do love them. I'd like to buy one at some point.
Yep.
Sean McGrew said, "Is the new Wagoneer going to be a flop? Have you driven it?
I haven't. We've driven it. Motor Trend's driven it. I hear it's great.
I heard nice things from the people who went to drive it.
Yeah.
Straight Pipes did a nice video about that. Yuri and Jacob, they did a good job.
Yeah.
I'd like to try one. I think it looks a little awkward.
It looks weird. It does
Looks
look weird.
I haven't even looked at it enough to have an opinion, but no, Americans love humongous SUVs they don't need. It's gonna do great.
Yeah.
Especially if they do like a hybrid version. In 2 years' time, it'll kick ass.
Harold says, I'm a local architectural designer and I'm tired of designing apartment complexes. Where might my skills fit in the automotive space?
I don't know how to answer. I do know.
No idea.
Okay.
I really don't
know. So, Bugatti EB110 was designed by Gandini, and then he turned it in, and they said, okay, could you make some changes? And he said, the maestro has spoken. So they got the frickin' architect of the factory to finish the car. Yeah.
How interesting.
And he's never designed a car before or since. So
I think the EB110 was just finally appreciated this year, right?
Yeah,
First one to sell over $1 million?
Yeah, they're amazing cars. Again, that's another car like we were talking about where the engine you think is going to be what you're interested in, and then you drive it and you're like, oh my God, this chassis, the size of it, because supercars are now the size of the road.
Yeah, they're giant.
This is the size of a 911, but it has all-wheel drive and a carbon fiber monocoque, and they're amazing.
And a zillion horsepower.
I mean, I
And
think
the stick.
They could design car collecting storage places. They could design I mean, or museums, like stuff like that.
Yeah,
Really.
there are definitely like car adjacent buildings. that you could do.
Also, I know a lot of guys now that are building their own houses, and they have an amazing car collection, and they're like, I'd like a way to sit in my living room and look at my Aston Martin
display
Valkyrie.
my shit. Yeah.
So that's
stuff like that.
Yeah, that too. And there's other folks who have these. Not like my place where it's just cars in a big room where it's like individual garages and man caves, and you buy a shell, and then have it finished out by somebody, and there's possibly some opportunity there.
And I've seen like actual Bond villain layers. Like I remember this one. I'm not going to mention the guy, but I went to his place in Scottsdale, and like. You would use it to film a Bond ending.
Yeah,
like, it was. I was just like, and yes, he's a billionaire Trump supporter. But anyways, he had really nice cars. So I looked at the cars.
Nico says, I've got an RSX Type S as a weekend car, but I want an enjoyable car to daily that's good in the winter. I'm looking at a B9 Audi S4, a C43 or GLA 45 AMG, or waiting for the Elantra N. I don't think the Elantra N is going to be all-wheel drive. I think that's going to be a front-wheel drive car.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just looking at that. I mean, does he want fun? Yeah. GLA 45.
The GLA 45, which I reviewed a couple months ago, was a very good time and very underrated.
But the first gen one is even, I think, more fun. I think this new one is more capable, more power.
Yeah, and I like the gearbox a lot better in the new one, too.
It is better, but it's still a dual clutch in the first. I don't know. I would say for fun in winter, because it is lifted an inch or two, which the Audi isn't, and the C43 most definitely isn't. Yeah, GLA for sure.
My friend has a first gen GLA 45, and he's had it since 2016, and it's not been a problem, and he's not been a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It's been very reliable, and he really enjoys it.
Sang has one, and Sang Yoon, our chef friend, who buys a new car every day and has sold everything in the world. He still has his lowered, chipped, bitchin' GLA 45.
Oh, he still got that thing?
He's like, I don't think he'd ever admit it, but it's his favorite car because it's so good.
Yeah, they're great little cars. Luxury rally cars are good.
They are.
That's a good genre of car. Cowside, thank you for your donation. Luke says, I bought an 80 series Land Cruiser, which has turned into a massive money pit. Blown head gasket, cracked head. Let's drink to bad decisions. Well, Luke, I'm sorry. I'm sorry
rare.
for your LS it.
Yeah, I had a Lexus
point.
press car that broke. That was
Did
interesting.
you?
Yeah, it was like I asked everybody, and they're like, "Yeah, it's the first time it's ever happened."
I had a Porsche press car that took a poo not long ago.
I should say it was a window up and down switch that broke.
Oh,
but
that
it was a
not.
Lexus.
No, the motor went on this.
Oh,
but
yeah.
but it was
Oh,
it was a fucking hard life German spec. They made it disappear pretty quick. And actually, a U.S. spec one is landing this month, and I have it at the end of the month, so I can make, because I drove it broke on the 6th day. Talking about your S class, we're like, we have to get you another one. This one broke on the 6th day, and I was gonna make the video on the 7th morning. And I was like,
Naturally.
yeah, they're gonna get me another one.
No, this was just like I called Lexus. It was an LC 500 convertible, And the button, yep, I know.
What a fucking car.
Desirable.
What
right?
a car. Desirable is the right word.
Because it's like, everyone's going to say, compare it to something. It's like, it doesn't
Nope.
really have a peer.
There is
No, it
no
doesn't.
Yeah.
comparison to anything.
It's just its own awesome thing. But the switch, there's only one switch to get the quarter windows up and down. There's only one. There's redundant switches for the other windows, but the one button, it actually puts all four up and down.
Right.
That broke. And like I called Lexus and they're just like, wow, we've actually never had a car break.
We've never had a part break before.
So
I don't even know what to do.
It's weird that a Toyota, but I guess an 80 series, we're going like back to the.
That's old.
Yeah, that's like early 90, 93.
I have a friend, my friend Jeff in Miami, who's not into cars. He's a real estate guy, and he's a fucking heavy hitter. He doesn't give a fuck. He bought a Model 3 because he doesn't give a fuck. And he's a terrible driver. He'll tell you he's a terrible driver. He shouldn't even be driving, probably. And he said his buddy let him have a go in his new LC 500. And he texts me and he goes, this car is unreal.
Yeah.
This is someone who's not into cars.
Right.
And he goes, I can't believe how amazing this thing is.
Yeah.
You know, and we're jaded and we think it's that good. If you're like not that into cars, but you get an LC 500, you're like, what the fuck is this amazing concept car I'm driving?
Right. The design is out there. The interior is one of the better designs to ever happen in the car world. I mean, they'll do 3 shades of brown.
Yeah.
You know, the last one I had, it's a 500 whatever horsepower V8 or whatever.
I think it's 480. Yeah,
close
yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
But it's naturally
Sounds
aspirated.
great.
And by the way, no one knows this, but Randy Popes was hired by Lexus to tune the fucking thing.
Did he really?
That's why it drives so well.
No,
yeah,
it drives really good.
He was at Big Willow tuning the thing.
It's fast.
Yeah, and it's 4,300 pounds, and the convertible is 4,500. But
it's a lovely car.
I love it.
It's a great car. Really, I hope people buy more of them, and I hope they're appreciated because they're really nice. Every press car I've ever driven was like, fuck, this thing is so dope.
They're amazing. I love them.
Alex Gong enjoys your grip strength showcases. What's your pull-up game like, he says?
Well, I'll say 2 things. I've been losing weight, so I'm down 33 pounds as of yesterday.
Good for you.
Yeah.
What's your move?
I don't eat.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's really it. I eat. It sounds weird, but I eat 2 eggs for breakfast and 4 ounces of orange juice. I eat cottage cheese or a salad for lunch.
Oh God, this sounds awful.
And then I don't worry about dinner, but I try to like.
You don't eat dinner? Oh, wow.
No, I eat dinner, but I don't stress about.
Oh, got it.
But like for instance, if the family orders pizza, I will eat 1 slice and a salad instead of 4 slices.
Yeah.
And I'm 46. I told myself, you know what? You've eaten pizza. You've eaten a lot of pizza. You know what pizza tastes like.
Yeah, true.
Eat your salad.
Have a new experience if it presents itself, but otherwise.
And by the way, I spent 46 years avoiding salad. Salads are kind of fun.
Yeah,
salads are
that's
okay.
Good.
Yeah.
So when I was 257 pounds, my pull-up game was very bad. I'm now below 225. So I'm like,
good for you.
So I haven't. I'm also not working out at all because I'm trying to like get smaller. Because I got to the point where, and I'm sure you've been there. I know you've never been there, but it's like, wow, my dryer is really, it's really good because all my shirts suddenly don't fit. It's like I gotta turn down the dryer, you know.
So I don't have a trainer anymore. I had a weight trainer for a while, and all I do is Legree, which is fucking impossible, which is the Megaformer Pilates. I do it 3 times a week, plus the other 4 days I do cardio, and I feel like I'm gonna fucking die, but it's amazing.
Well, for people trying to get skinny, I stopped. So when COVID happened, I was like, I'm going to work out every day because I'm stuck at home, and I did, and I was doing great, except I literally got to 257 pounds, and I'm 5'11", right? That's just too much. And I stopped working out, and I dropped like 8 pounds just by being lazy, which was great. But then it was like, my sister died, and it turned out she had a heart attack, and so I just like, you got to get skinny. You got a kid. You got to be responsible.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get.
If you exercise too, though, that will help you lose the weight quicker.
No.
If you're eating at a caloric,
if you're lifting weights, no. But if you're doing cardio
if you're eating a caloric deficit, though, you won't.
If I work out, I get ravenous and I will just eat a pizza.
Right. Yeah.
So I want to get to 215 and then reassess. Because if I get to for me,
dude, you want to come to a Pilates class with me? It's hard as fuck.
No,
you'll die.
God no.
It's really good.
I like the stuff I do. I do my little.
I'm not going to try and change your game.
Yeah, I do. I'm not. I mean, you should not put ice in there, but so I want, that's the only game I'll try and change.
All right. Danny says I've got an 04 Volkswagen R32 track car. Unfamiliar with LSDs. Will a rear LSD help with rotation on corner exit on a front-wheel drive bias all-wheel drive car? I think it probably will. HPA all-wheel drive controller helps. Sway bars, stainless steel brakes lines, etc., etc. I mean, ultimately, I drove HPA's R32, the most fucking modded one, full-on race car. It was like 500 horsepower. It was pushy.
Yeah.
Even that, like full done, was pushy. At a certain point, you have to realize what you've got.
Yeah.
Will it help? Probably.
Maybe.
You're still fighting the programming,
But
though.
you're still fighting.
And also, what kind of LSD? And also, like, I personally think that's more of like roll bars at that point. I think if you know what I mean, like if you if you lessen the roll bar and you make the rear shocks actually less stiff, I think that then the wheels can kind of go their own. The rear wheels can kind of do their own thing, and I think that'll lead to more oversteer. I think, but what do I know? Don't listen to me.
I don't know the fine-tuning aspects of this type of stuff. I really don't. I'm the wrong person to ask. I think it will help. It might be diminishing returns, though, considering what the cost would be and all that stuff. And at the end of the day, you're just fighting the physics of your own car.
Well, then look, the new Golf R, which I reviewed, like it has an e-diff, and it does a much better job of sending power to the rear than the last gen did. But
is it still brake by it? Is it still like torque vectoring by brake?
It has torque vectoring by brake and it has e-diff.
Yeah.
So and it can direct.
What e-diff is electronic locking differential.
Correct. So it can send half the torque can go to the rear differential, and then it can send 100% to one of the 100% of that 50% to one wheel.
Right.
So it can kind of sends a ton of power to the outside, right wheel or left wheel.
But it still has a little baby drive shaft that can only take 50% of the torque.
Right.
By the way, what's the torque is like 300, so
So you're getting 150 pounds-feet of torque roughly to one wheel or the other. But even with all of that new electronics, new hardware, etc., unless we were in race mode on the right kind of corner, it still felt front-wheel drive-ish.
Right.
And it was more rear biased than the old one, but it still wasn't great. So.
I'll also argue though, like there's nothing wrong with being front-wheel drive. It's like I'm driving a rear-wheel drive car, I'm driving a front-wheel drive car.
True.
Like Fiesta ST, super front-wheel drive, and you work around it. And by the way, understeer is stability. If the British guys and their drifting nonsense, like if you have a stable car, you're actually faster.
Could be.
So the whole thing with needing that, I'm kind of.
You're not gonna turn it into the unicorn.
No.
Like if that's what you're hoping for, you're not gonna get there.
Yeah.
Adam says, do I have any thoughts on why it seems like legal weed has ruined the social aspects of pot? Well, that's an interesting thought. Certainly when you're doing something illicit with your friends, that's a bonding experience more so than going to the store by yourself, getting your weed and going home and smoking it.
Yeah, but then you turn 40 and that's out the window. But.
I think it's more about age and just my life, than it is about the social aspects than it is the legality. I certainly was using weed socially here in California when it was legal the whole time. As it happens, a lot of my weed smoking friends left Los Angeles over the last 2 years for a variety of reasons completely unrelated to weed, and which just left me by myself with my weed. And so circumstance may have been different. And it that doesn't necessarily has to do with it being illegal or not.
And I will say, I mean, again, I haven't smoked pot in 100,000 years, but my friends who do smoke pot, they're like in their 50s and nothing will change their course. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They are still smoking tons of pot, and they have been for 30-some years.
Yeah, look, and my brother-in-law and his wife are social weed. They smoke weed with all their friends, and it is a thing. Like they're my age. It's not they're not kids, and so I think it's more circumstance than it is legal or illegal. But I understand the point of the question. Verb name. When my dad was on, I asked if he was proud of my weed sponsorship. Now that I'm off it, has there been I told you so type situation? My father is a really good human and has never, ever, ever put me in an I told you so situation. Ever.
Oh, wow. That's my only parenting technique.
He's tried to give me good advice where he can. He did not judge me for smoking weed. When I was smoking weed, he didn't judge me at least outwardly to me.
And by the way, for people listening at home, Matt, you were just like shameless about smoking weed. Like, I'll never forget when we were in Malmo, Sweden, on the Volvo Polestar launch. Remember that?
Yeah.
When we flew coach next to each other.
Yeah.
But like, we sit down at dinner. You know, Swedes are kind of reserved people, let's say, and you're just like, yeah, I'm doing weed reviews.
Yeah. No, I mean,
so
it never bothered me. I was never. It was always a thing. No, my dad was. No, my dad is proud of me for trying to improve myself, and is not judgmental in me in any of the ways that I might not have lived up to whatever his version of ideals were. Maybe he was a little different when I was a kid, and he was really had to be my dad.
But you're your own person. Yeah.
I'm not like a fucking, my weed never affected my productivity. It never really affected my ability to be a business person or to do my job or any of that kind of stuff. And so it was never, I told you so. It was like, oh, you're trying to be a better person? Good for you. How can I support you?
That's awesome.
That's good. I have good parents. I'm proud of my parents.
Yeah, good for you.
Matthew Markowitz says Johnny's dislike of Porsche's 7-speed, the manual, is well documented. Has PDK become an essential part of the new modern 911 experience? Are 3 pedals still worth it in non-GT3s?
I'll just say this. Everyone gives the old first-gen GT4 crap because you could do 84 miles an hour in second gear. Well, you can do that in
the new GT3 is the same.
GT4, yeah.
No, but the new GT3,
yeah.
the same red lines. Yeah.
But in like a Carrera S, you can do that speed in second gear and with the manual, and you can do 100. I did 113 in third.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, I still had a few RPMs left.
Yeah.
But that's not it's like, there's a reason, I'll let you answer, but there's a reason that like the GT division, who makes the good Porsches, didn't use the 7-speed, they use a 6-speed.
I think Porsche specifically has done a better job with the 7-speed than others because they lock out 7th unless you're in 5th or 6th.
Yes, but they have reverse, first, third, 5th, and 7th all forward.
Yeah.
So it's too tightly spaced. So I don't care. One time on a fast drive, you will pull 5th when you want 3rd and 3rd when you want 5th.
It hasn't happened to me, but I could see how it could happen.
All right.
I could see how it could happen. So, fair opinion for sure. Richard H., $100,000 challenge. Mach-E plus 997 Carrera or Taycan Cross Turismo? Well, look, I mean, I already own one of those cars.
Yeah. How's the Mach-E doing?
I love Taycan Cross Turismo.
Haven't
If I was rich enough to be blowing 100K on a daily driver, that would be a really lovely daily driver. I'm not there. For my $50,000 lease, my $750 a month, the Mach-E is fabulous. It's a really great product. I've really enjoyed it. It's had a couple little electronic hiccups that have never prevented me from driving it. It's always been like stupid radio bullshit. But it's a fabulous product. And here in Los Angeles, an EV for every day and a sports car for the weekend is probably better than a really fast EV for all the time.
I'll go with that. I'll also add that I really like the Mach-E a lot. Yeah.
I'm really excited for the GT. I think it's going to be sweet.
Yeah, I was the Mach-E was much. I'm just shocked that Ford got an EV so right first time out of the gate.
Right, I agree.
And my buddy has a E39 M5, and he chased me down Angeles Crest, and I was like, 0.1 second per mile quicker than he was, and
That's
I said,
amazing.
And I said, how fast were you? I had the 2-motor,
all-wheel drive.
I said, how hard were you driving? And he's like, I was 9.5 out of 10. He goes, I could have started late braking, but there's oncoming traffic, so I didn't.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's pretty amazing that
it's a fast car.
Kind of a fat SUV.
It's a fast car. It's got good balance.
Yeah, it does. And it's on bullshit tires. Could outpace like the legendary, E39 M5.
We've got about 3,600 miles on our Mach-E, and We've really liked it. Hannah really likes driving it every day, and we charge it at a 110 outlet at home.
Oh, really?
Well, she works from home, so
Okay.
she doesn't have to go very far very often.
And you guys have a new house coming, so you'll put a...
We'll put a 240 charger, and I have a 240 charger here if I really need it.
Right.
We rarely do.
Yeah.
And it's a lovely product. We have 4 adults. We went to Irvine in the concert the other night. Tailgated out the back of it. Had some snacks and some beverages in the trunk.
Rear seat's comfortable. Like,
Yeah,
it's comfortable. The
yeah,
seat's good.
headroom is good.
They emphasize that, actually.
Yeah. It's a very nice product.
car.
I'm very happy with it.
I'll just add my Alfa Romeo Giulia, which has 6,600 miles. Nothing's gone wrong.
That's good. But you have a
Bulletproof.
TI, right?
Oh, yeah, TI Sport.
The TI is the one, right?
TI Sport. No, look, the Quadrifoglio is the one. I should have got it. But my wife drives. I've actually driven the car about 7 times. But, like, that's me knocking on wood. Nothing. It's been like literally perfect. It's
Great.
Yeah,
That's excellent. I like when people's cars work. I don't wish unreliability on anybody.
I'm just saying. It's how you
Jeff says, I just replaced the shocks on my 328 BMW with Bilstein B6s. How is one supposed to shop for a new setup without testing it first, especially for big dollar setups?
I'm throwing my hands up because I know nothing. I know about new cars. I know nothing about tuning cars. I can tell you to do it wrong, which I've done.
Yeah.
But
you know what sucks about it is tough about tuning cars. Reputation counts for so much, so much, and companies like Bilstein or KW or Coney have built the reputation for building a quality product. And so you have very little choice but to trust that those companies are continuing to build a quality product. And then it comes down to the fine tuning. You know, there's not going to be like, if you get these Bilsteins versus a nice KW V3, there's not going to be a whole lot of difference from the driver's seat. It's going to be how you fine tune the settings and the alignment. And then it's really just like, is this a quality made product or not? And that comes down to reputation.
Yeah, and I think homework. I think this is one thing that you don't do really quickly. Like, you know, you can buy a car. I mean, especially today with Bring a Trailer, people buy cars really quickly, or other things in our life happen really quick. But if you're buying a $2,000 to $5,000 suspension setup, like, you got to read the forums. You got to read 12 different posts and make sure you trust the people that wrote them.
Right.
What are they saying? How detailed are they being? What's their experience before that modification? And then you have to just eventually whittle it down and choose one. And you're always going to wonder, okay, should I have got the other set instead of something else? But if you're picking between 2 really high quality products, like you said, you know, Bilstein, KW.
It's not a big difference.
It's not a big difference. And then get them installed or do the installation really right and get the setup correctly, you know, adjust the dampening or the springs and whatever, and then just be, you know, hopefully you're happy with what you got. And if you're not happy with it, try to figure out why. Go, okay, maybe the springs I got are way too stiff. Maybe I should go with a lighter spring before I change out the whole thing. You know, that's the problem with suspensions. There's so many pieces. There's spring, shock, bushings, and tires and bump stops. You can tune all that shit. So you really just do your homework.
Roll bar.
Yeah.
I'm as I age out of this business or into this, whatever I'm doing,
Out of this business.
I got to do something else one of these days. It's been 16 years. It's enough. Anyhow, like I get to peek behind the curtain and I get to see actually once in a while how these cars are developed by an OEM and like. Man, they got like 50 dudes with like master's degrees in suspension. You can actually go to school and get a master's in suspension tuning that put 1 million kilometers of testing into it. And then they hand it to a third party whose job it is to like destroy it. And they come back and then they release the car. And then you just remove the part that like these really smart people have worked so hard on. Like, I don't know. I just like...
Well, look, the smart people can be smart, but they can also be handed a set of priorities.
Totally.
And your priorities might be shifted a little bit from there.
It's
so
car
that's
dependent.
where it's...
But I'll give you another for instance. And again, it's car dependent. But like my little Fiesta ST, I've modded a few things. But I was thinking about lowering it just so it would sit better on the wheels. And I remember I had Jethro and Tony D'Angelo, and they both drove it on Angeles Crest. And they're like, we'll kick the shit out of you if you touch... This car's perfect. If you touch a thing, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And I'm like... Because it kind of looks like a little SUV now because it's on bigger wheels. but I'll live with it.
The Fiesta does?
Yeah, I put it on 18s.
Oh, okay.
And it's great. It's actually, it needed them from the factory, but like, I have to do a lot of, anyway, it's just great. And so, yeah.
That's good advice, though.
The Ford really guys, they know what they were doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Anything else, Zach?
Sorry.
Go back to the other page, brah. There's a couple left, right? We're getting that?
Yeah, these lower ones are leftover. This one's from today.
Elemental Garage. Any of you driven the CT5V? I presume this means Blackwing. They mean
I've driven the V.
The V was not great.
Oh, really? I liked it.
We talked about this. I got sent the all-wheel drive one, which was a disaster. It was a disaster.
Sucks. It's for the Midwest.
Did you drive Blackwing?
No, not yet. But the V is good. I have to assume that the 668 horsepower rear-wheel drive car with the manual on the Alpha platform is probably the greatest thing. Because it's just a four-door ZL1 at that point.
Yeah.
With more horsepower.
I mean, the last gen CTS-V was the tits, and nobody bought it, and it was the tits.
It's so good.
It was great.
I did
such good balance. Ugh.
I did 2 head-to-heads with that, and I did a thing. This is one of my proudest moments. I did this thing. It was the Nevada City Hill Climb.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Virginia City Hill Climb.
Virginia City Hill
Climb. Yeah. The Route 341.
Yes. Sorry, you're right. Virginia City. And I said, what's a good time? And all the dudes that have done it for years are like, if you can do 4 minutes, that's good. If you can do 3:50, that's great. My first practice session, I did 3:36 in that thing. I was faster than the Ferrari Club, by the way, sponsored. I was faster than every Ferrari. I was beaten by one of the 3 McLarens.
Blind up the road, right? First run?
I don't remember. I did a couple practices, but I did do a 3:36. And oh my god, that car! And like every head-to-head we put in, we did it against me and Jason did it with the Lexus GS-F.
That's a nice car.
It's a great car, but like after Camisa, God bless him, doesn't really like American cars. I'm gonna say he's a little biased against them. Even he was like, oh, yeah, this is really good.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And then Jethro and I did an E63, and so that would have been whatever generation, but like the 4 years ago one. And like, yeah, Cadillac was just better to drive.
Yeah.
It was 640 horsepower, and it kicked ass. So this one's 668.
And it's a stick.
Standard with a manual, and it's the 4th gen, not the 3rd gen Magnum. It's got to be the best car.
It's going to be amazing. Yeah, I can't wait to have a go. I have not had a go yet, but I can't wait.
Yeah.
We got 3 left, and then we're out of here. Cameron says, I'm looking for a used SUV, daily drive, and tow a 4,000-pound trailer. 2010 Range Rover Sport or E70 BMW X5. What's E70?
$20,000 budget.
Yeah, I think that's like the.
Can you say
the 2nd gen? I think it's a 2nd gen X5. So it's like right now we're on 3rd gen. So it's
right. Okay, so that
2nd gen, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's that one.
Yeah. I have many opinions,
dude. I don't know.
None. Don't
I
wouldn't
get
for
that.
20 grand.
Those are
get a Tahoe.
Those are not good tow vehicles.
Yeah.
They it'll say it can tow 5,000 pounds. It doesn't mean it can tow 5,000 pounds well. All that means is it won't overheat going up a hill. That's all literally all
it
it
will
means.
go slowly.
But it might go fast.
Mean the rear suspension might get completely overwhelmed.
The thing you're hauling will move the tow vehicle around. They're not designed to tow. You want to get Tahoe, awesome. Like you want to get a pickup truck. If by the way, for 40 grand you can get a slightly used heavy duty vehicle. I mean,
he wants 20. This is 20 grand.
You could get a pretty used heavy duty.
Pretty used,
but like they don't even notice they're towing.
Yeah.
When you're, I have, and again, I'm lucky because of Motor Trend, we do a lot of towing, but like when the thing you're towing moves what you're driving,
that's not good.
And usually it moves it into semi-trucks. It's the worst feeling in the world. No, because of the air.
The Venturi. Yeah.
So those are both absolutely terrible to tow with, I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
RDS has a question where the answer is wrong.
Yes.
Why doesn't Porsche make convertible GT cars? They do. Porscheable. They do. They made the Speedster 2 years ago. They make the Boxster Spider right now. Right. That's a GT car.
Yeah, you're right. Yep. And the Speedster is one of the best cars ever made.
Yeah,
I
and the
love that
Boxer
thing.
Spider is excellent as well.
It's better than the Cayman
It is
GT4.
excellent. Last question.
It was
Is there
just
one more?
thanks for the engineering content.
There we go. Johnny,
Dude, that was fun.
thanks for coming down. It was a great show as always.
I'm glad. It's been like forever for some reason.
Couple months.
No,
couple months
longer,
for sure.
Longer than
right?
that. It's got to be 6 months.
Probably.
I haven't
Maybe
seen you
6
in
months.
100 years. And you're like a celebrity now, Zach. Like,
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you
That's
are.
not true.
No, you
He's
are.
got
like
multiple
actually not true.
shows.
He's
He's got
got-
rated on Haggerty
Yeah.
Network.
He's got more shows than me. It's
He's
crazy.
got a lot of
Yeah.
shows. He's got a lot going
Well,
on.
if that's the bar.
Yeah. I mean,
You're driving press cars and you don't even have to film them. I've heard.
yeah, that's
You're not allowed to say anything.
yeah. Well, that was a weird Ford thing, but yeah.
Isn't that the goal?
I just got offered a car, and I said, well, I'm literally busy till September 24th. What do you expect? And they go, no, just put it on your Instagram. I'm like,
That's awesome.
I'm like, okay.
Well, I've never got that.
That's
Yeah.
celebrity.
My expectations are always to
you
make a
work
video
too
with
hard.
the car.
You got to be lazy.
I
like
guess
me.
I need to start dialing it back. I gotta start dialing back the expectations.
dial it way down. Be like me. Be like, yeah, I'll talk about it on Spike's show.
Right? Yeah, there we go.
Oh, you will?
There we go.
Is Leno going to be there?
That is our show, folks. We got a crew show coming later this week. What, Thursday? Wednesday? Thursday?
Wednesday.
Crew show on Wednesday. We'll catch up on all the other shit we've been driving. Zach and I are going to hit the trail tomorrow. We'll
Yep.
attempt to drive the Outback Wilderness up Rower and see if it works.
I'm actually very curious because
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to do it.
Well, if it doesn't, it doesn't. That's
totally,
and that'll be
yeah.
what it is. Yeah. Thanks for coming down. Look at that picture. What a fucking great
isn't
day.
that great?
I wonder if
screen capped that.
anybody remembers what that was. Oh, you put it up there.
Yeah.
What it was.
Well-
when I hurt my leg. That was when I hurt my. You know when that was? That was when I fucking destroyed my knee. I'm
Yeah.
still dealing with that.
Yeah.
That was
You were
11 years
snowboarding.
ago.
12.
I'm still.
It was 12 years ago.
I went to PT today.
Yeah.
For that.
So this is so funny. So everyone in the comments on my thing, they're like, "Oh my god, you guys had the same sideburns." Oh my god.
No. Johnny did that as a bit. He
Yeah.
committed.
got it.
So
Yeah.
here's what happened, just real quick. I had the Audi, and I was like, we were talking about something, and you're like, I can't even film this week. And I'm like, what if we said you had the car, but you couldn't drive, and I pretended I dressed up like you.
It was funny.
I'll wear, dude. Top Gear for Dummies. It's
It
the
was-
funniest thing I've ever
Oh,
said.
Top Gear for Dummies. Is that what it
Remember, 'cause
was?
I was fucking
Oh
up
my
the intro.
God.
I was like, Garage 420.
Oh, that's so fucking funny.
I mean, we should have a show called Top Gear for Dummies. The
That's
three of us.
really funny.
Right?
And there I am in crutches. That's literally right after I tore both my patellar tendons in a horrible snowboarding accident. Yeah.
I mean, I was
Still
an
dealing with that
autoblog.
bullshit now.
I was an
wow.
autoblog.
But you did the sideburns, you got
Yeah.
the jacket, you
Yeah.
got the goatee. You
Well,
really fucking did it.
The jacket was for me, but the funny part about the jacket. And by the way, by the way, I watched the video today. It's actually the first 4 minutes are like we don't know what we're saying driving the car, but the comedy bit.
Really? It was funny?
It was
I can't
like
go
because you're
back
like,
and
where'd
watch
you get
my
that
old shit.
jacket? Well, first of all, Craig Lieberman
Oh, Craig Lieberman.
is in it because remember we
Holy
audition
shit.
people. We audition people.
Oh, yeah.
And so you're
Oh,
like,
shit, I gotta go watch this thing.
I haven't watched this
and
shit
you're
in
like,
forever.
so who are you? And he's like, yeah, I wrote Fast and Furious. And you're like, oh, so like a Civic that, like, and then Zach jumps in. And you look at him, you're like, no. but you're
That's
like,
so funny.
You were like, where'd you get that jacket? I'm like, Alex Roy's garage sale or something like that.
That's really funny, man.
It was pretty.
I hate
funny.
watching old videos of myself. I cringe at myself, but I might have to go back and watch
I've
that.
honestly
375,000 views. All right.
I mean, hey, it was 370.
11 years ago.
It was.
Jesus
By the way,
Christ.
it was 300. It was less views when I posted it a few hours ago. So
That's
people-
funny. I wonder if
You
people
got
have
the
gone
Lieberman
back.
bump.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is hilarious.
I put it in the. It's the link in my Instagram. Right
Wow,
now.
the like to dislike ratio is not good. that's like a
4
much
to 1.
That's a
Yeah.
much worse
I mean,
dislike.
first of
Look
all,
at
look
this.
at you.
Look at you.
I was thin. Look at those glasses. I was thin. That's about when I was
how
thinnest.
How did you actually get your facial hair to do that?
It was fucking work.
I
It
mean,
was
that's-
amazing.
you're
So this injury right here
Yeah.
is what made me gain weight from my adult low.
Oh,
I was at 248 pounds. I blew both my knees, and that's when I went on a journey to being fat again. Right after that.
Oh, that sucks.
Yep.
Your rap rock album, though, this year that you put out,
Bro,
was
I did it all for the
amazing.
nookie,
I
as
mean,
it turns out.
by
I
the
was
way,
doing
you-
an Andrew Dice Clay there.
You look more like Dwayne Johnson. You
That
look
was
more
an
like
Andrew
The
Dice
Rock
Clay.
than anything. The sideburns are.
I really
amazing.
did the sideburns for a while, though, huh?
That's-
It was when I got really bald on top
Right.
that I had to bail on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, wow. That cast is on my right knee. My left knee is more fucked up now. How interesting.
Yeah. By the way, look how well the R8 is aged. That's
Yes.
a
Oh, it's
gorgeous.
such a gorgeous
You want to
car.
talk about money well
Investment,
spent? Get
yeah.
yourself a stick V10
Oh,
R8.
the stick.
Fucking call the game.
That was, I believe, was the single clutch.
I think it was.
Yeah,
I think
but
it was not a stick.
But if you put in like
was
Sport Plus,
okay.
it's
Yeah,
good.
it was
It was
all right.
terrible in comfort. but-
Dan.
Oh, Dan Volz. How about that?
shit! Yeah.
He was our intern, and he became he was the Bachelor in Germany.
Really?
Yeah.
On Facebook 2 years ago.
He moved back to Germany, and he was on the Bachelor, and
Get outta
he
here.
was the Bachelor.
No.
Yes.
That guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's very good looking.
Well, yeah. Look.
Craig Lieberman. Oh my God, there he is. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
And then after Craig is Zach.
Zach.
I
Is there
think.
young Zach? There's
There
young
is.
Zach.
But what's
Wow, Zach is utterly ageless. Zach looks exactly the same.
But what's so great? You
Oh,
Look at my
like
face.
shirt.
Look at my face.
But you literally look at him. You're like, no.
That's funny. And then Johnny shows up, and I'm like, "You are perfect."
Well, yeah, no, but then I start
Awesome.
doing this whole shtick where I'm like, well, so is it a union gig? Like, what's the scale? And you're like, there's no money, bro. Literally no. And by the way, doing videos back then, remember there was
no money.
Yeah, there was no- I mean,
that was true.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
oh,
great.
I'm so glad we did that. I
That's
wish we could do more
fucking great.
videos. We should do a comedy thing. We should just for like, for the
That's
13-year anniversary of the R8
Oh
video.
my God.
Right?
We should write bits.
Yeah. It was so bad. It was great.
That was awesome. All right. Thanks, everybody. That was a great show. I appreciate you joining us on a Monday evening. Thank you for bringing this Willet, Johnny. That was
Dude,
good. And thanks to Tony for the Elmer T. Lee. That was very good as well. And we'll see you all back on Thursday. Guten Tag.